places that I used to know. Smoke rings running through my mind, well, visions in my mind start to grow. And this open wide road running through the sky, hopper color blue, the summer in your mind. And this open wide road running through the sky, hopper color blue, the summer in your mind. And this open wide road running through the sky, hopper color blue, the summer in your mind. And this open wide road running through the sky, hopper color blue, the summer in your mind. How I feel when I'm close again. How I feel when I'm close again. How I feel when I'm close again. How I feel when I'm close
Man, this song just gets me jacked up. So I figured I'd just share it with all of you. What's one of my favorites? It's on my personal track list. This is Camel Fat and Hypercolor. And this music is the music that I really became fond of for a very long time. The house music industry. I started off with trance back in I think I got started in like 1998. This music, and I've always been a rocker, and I moved to this, and it's still got a big piece of my heart. I love to I do DJing on this a little bit here and there. I'm a producer. I make some music and stuff like that. Maybe you do too. And that song is just amazing. These guys just rip it, man, and it just gets me excited. This song, this whole kind of energy, there's nothing negative about it. It's just all upbeat, positive, love, and high vibrations, as Jordan would say. Big shout out to Jordan over at Waters Above Crypto. My great friend Jordan. What a gem of a guy he is. If you're a fan of crypto and you want to understand the markets, he's the guy to go check him out from, is Jordan over at Waters Above Crypto. And go check him out. So let's just change the music up here a little bit. All right, and this was like a spur of the moment tonight. I'm like, I got a little froggy and I'm like wearing green and I'm like, let's go to the heart chakra. Let's spread a little bit of love tonight. Let's talk some decoding. Let's talk some shop. So a little bit different of a parameter or a different context of what my typical what's your question, but I guess it'll all be the same. This is just random, and tonight's Thursday. It's Thor's Day. It's Jupiter's Day. It's the Christ Day, or at least a piece of that tied to this. And I figured, what the hell, let's come on here and talk about some decoding. I have so many topics that I could decode right now and throw your way and throw some gems. So we can talk about anything all of you want to talk about. What I can say is I've been decoding, and it's not that I'm watching the mainstream, but of course, if you were paying attention to somebody's post, somebody put it out there, the slap, which I think was all just staged anyway, but nonetheless, that wasn't the big takeaway for me. The Academy Awards, it was the 94th Academy Awards. 94 is plutonium and Shiva. What does this mean for all of us? 94th. And then, the precursor to that is the Golden Globes. And I don't know if you knew or not, but it was, and I didn't know this until I looked at it, it was just the 79th Golden Globe Awards, which is gold. Something big is about to happen, folks. That's not to get you scared or afraid or live in fear. You should get excited about this. I'm pumped. But the big takeaways that I have found, I'm going to show you some snippets of my upcoming decode on the Academy Awards. It's just ridiculous how coded this reality is. But anyway, the big takeaway was the movie that won. And it was about the dog. The dog star, Sirius, plutonium, Shiva. Sirius is 16. Shiva is 16. And the dog star is Shiva and Sirius. What does that mean for all of us? If you start, and it got me into like the Egyptian calendar, and I had a big truth bomb drop on me from that, how it's tied into the Hebrew calendar. The Egyptian, I don't know if you have decoded this, but of course the Egyptian New Year is on September 11th. And we're in the 6236, I think it is, year of the Egyptian calendar, which is the 814th prime number. It's a prime number year for the Egyptian calendar. And then when we move into the Hebrew calendar, the 5783rd year, in Rosh Hashanah in September. All September now coming up. Egyptian Hebrew, it's the 756th prime number, which to me is going to represent the reset of, or 759, the reset of the game of life. Whatever the hell that means. Some big shit is about to come down the pike, folks. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I am really excited about all this. So I just was like, I'll get a little froggy, get a little green. Green's my go-to color. Green in Chaldean numerology is the number 20. 71 is the 20th prime number. 71 is lutetium. It's Lucifer. The Great Balance Act, the light, the speed of light. Speed of light is 56. Lights, camera, action is 56. Some big gems I have, folks, coming up, man. And I hope all of you have been able to watch my latest decode on cannabis. Even if you're not a fan of cannabis, I hope you were able to see that decode and using the new cipher that I discovered. And I say loosely created because I discovered it. And I'm being used, so I discovered it because my higher self was using me to discover it. And I brought it out into the world stage. The Fibonacci Extended is what I call it. I don't know if it's going to become that. And I don't know if Derek's even going to put it out on his website. So I'm going to maybe suggest some things tonight to all of you great decoders. Looking for some help. Some ideas I'm going to throw out there. Don't know where they're going to go. Don't care. No expectations. No connections to it. But I want to throw this out to all you great decoders, something that came into my download today in my mind, my higher mind, my all-seeing eye, my implant, as I was going through my day. And I was like, stop for a minute. I got excited about it. Like, oh, that's a great, I think it was a great idea. So I'm going to share it with all of you. I think I will tonight. As we move through this, let's talk decoding. So let's talk decoding, folks. As I just started off this with the Academy Awards, let's talk decoding. And again, you know, I see where the majority of energy is going on the world stage. It's people giving their energy away. If they're talking, talking shop, it's the mainstream. And then just giving their energy away. And it was all staged. I mean, it was just, you saw Will Smith walking back after the supposed slap and he had a big smirk on his face. You don't have a smirk on your face when you're angry like that. He for an actor, he did a horrible acting job. And I just caught the snippet of that. That's all I watched, because I didn't watch the Academy Awards. I could care less. Because I'm an actor. You're an actor or an actress. And I'm more interested in about my movie than I am their movie. And I hope you are too. So let's talk decoding, huh, folks? Let's talk decoding. Let's get into all you great decoders, man. Thank you so much for all you. I just wanted to give a big shout out to all of you great decoders. Whether you like me or not, thanks for being here. If you're here and you don't like me, well, that says a lot about your character, which is kind of funny. But nonetheless, if you're here and you're supporting not just me, but you, supporting you and your decoding efforts and the other great decoders, there are many of them, including yourself. So a big hats off to all of you great decoders. You deserve that hats off, because we are a collective. We are all doing this together. And even if we don't see eye to eye, we're still doing this in a collective manner. It's like kind of like this puzzle gets dumped out onto the, you ever make a puzzle? It's like the puzzle gets dumped out onto the table, and then the table's surrounded by all you great decoders, and everybody's grabbing pieces and they're starting to make the puzzle. That's what we're doing. And I feel like it's to our demise, because it's a catch-22. You want to decode the code, but yet once we decode it, it's lights out. Essentially, I feel like we're creating our own demise. Because once you figure out you are part of the one, that's it. It's really interesting. So anyway, folks, I really have so much love and appreciation. Thanks everybody, Richard and Lisa and Shaw. I mean, so many names, all of you, I appreciate you. I have so much love and respect and appreciation. Even if I don't agree with some of the stuff that some of you say, you may not agree with some of the stuff I say. Man, this is all about love and appreciation. And it's, as Jordan said, high vibes. And if you look at the pH scale, it's slightly love. Because you ain't going to be all love. If you're all love and magical unicorns and rainbows and fluffy marshmallow clouds, you're just going to float away and you'll be gone. See you later. And you're not, because you got, as Tool said in their great song, Numia, you got 1 foot nailed down. Numia means spirit. Got a bug flying around. Or Numa means spirit. And you got 1 foot nailed down. And it's the sun becoming. Tool had it in their song. If you want to really get some truth bombs, go study the lyrics of the song Numa by Tool off their latest album that they came out with not too long ago. That song had lyrics alluding to the fact that we are all incarnations of the sun. It says we are sun becoming. Light slowed down into physical matter to play a game, to play its game. The light shining down is like, oh, that looks pretty cool. I think I want to go down and play that game. Then it incarnates a body. And next thing you know, here you are, coming out into this world through the birth canal. Born into the maritime law, which is water, because that's what we're made up of, primarily water. That's why all these maritime laws are in place, because they're tapping into the source code, which is water. It's water-based. We live underwater, I feel. And we're made up of water, salt water. You have extracellular fluids. We're batteries and battery. And folks, I started decoding Duracell batteries yesterday. The guys that made it was from the Mallory Company originally, and then it ventured into Duracell and Ever-Ready from Great Britain. But that is just the we are the batteries. That's what you are. You're a battery. Your cells in the battery, feeding the major battery, the mother battery, the queen battery. Just this reality is so much fun to play with. Once you're in tune with it, it becomes so much fun. And then you're not really in line with judging things, and we're all guilty of that, but you're more in line of just observing and realizing that the people that you may think are the bad guys are just, that's their job. Just that's their job, is to be the antagonist. Mr. Poop, this is a false reality. It can't be a false reality. I'm not false. You're not false. This is just a reality. We put false as an adjective. It's just a reality, just like everything is. There is no good or bad. Everything just is. We use these ridiculous adjectives to describe the nouns. Nouns are all that matters. Influence. We're just nouns. We're just cells doing our job in the great constructs of the battery called life. And when I broke down the chemical formula, as I did in my Cannabis Decoded, breaking down tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, which was carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, showing you that it was pi, it was just ridiculous comical code. I started to break down the rechargeable battery that Thomas Edison, if you haven't seen my decode on Thomas, I forgot to include Thomas Edison in that decode, could have. Guy was being used by whatever created this reality to create a reality down here. Just like when we create video games, we play the characters, we're the control of the characters, remote control. Same situation with what's going on here. The simulation, Sims, the game The Sims, which is 314. But the battery that Edison was so famous for was the nickel iron battery, which is a rechargeable battery, and he used it in the cars back in the early 1900s, the electric car revolution, which didn't go very far because there was no money in that. The money was in oil. But it's nickel and iron. Nickel is devil's copper. Iron is the tetragrammatons. You put two and two together. And they're the anode and the cathode. Positive and negative. They're both symbiotic. They need one another to create an electrical current to run back and forth from the positive to the negative, being polarized basically. And that's where you're going to get your dielectric plane in there. You're going to get your magnetism, electricity, dielectricity. And we live on what's called the dielectric plane. And it is a polarization of the positive and negative from the sun and the moon constantly, all the time. And there are many influences, countless unlimited influences on the world stage. But this nickel cadmium battery, the formula, I'm getting into formulas now. Man, the formula for nickel cadmium, the battery itself, it ends up adding up to the number 182, which is tungsten, which is the wolf, which is illumination. And that's Feed the Wolf, folks. That's what it's all about. And it's inescapable. It's inescapable with our emotions that we give off. All right, so let's get into some of your comments because I could just keep going on and on. You guys know how I roll. They ruined capital. Jerry says they ruined capitalism. Capitalism gone wild. Yeah, well, capitalism, remember, everything has a baby stage. Like the brand new, those of you that have bought a brand new car, you've experienced what it's like to go through the golden age to the dark age. You buy the brand new car on the lot. You're all excited about it. No miles, no problems. No worries of how far it's going to go before it breaks down. No worries about nothing. And over time, which is Satan gets his hands on that car, that new car, and 5 or 10 years down the line, if you keep it that long, it's not only does it depreciate, depreciate, demon. You see how it works with the etymology or the language of the words we use? D means to bring down, deify. That car, as it puts miles in time, not only does it get devaluated, but it's no longer a new car and it's depreciated. So capitalism in itself is the same exact way. If you put capitalism into a business, if you when 1776, when this nation was created, supposedly, just going on the idea of this, when this nation in the United States, if you're in the US, 1776, when it was first created, it was a baby. It was living out its golden years, brand new car. So there was authenticity, there was honesty, there was integrity. Maybe not 100%, but the majority of it was all those constructs. But over time, and then you fast forward 245 years later, and we're in 2022, all that's pretty much gone. Authenticity, honesty, integrity. It's not here anymore because that's what time does. Time depreciates, time decays. Time breaks down things, which is the great devil. So, all right, I guess we're going to be getting into a question. How do you, Ephron's asking, how do you rationalize demonic possessions of people? Well, I mean, that's a sensitive subject, but I mean, hey, listen, like them or not, because they get demonized a lot. The Society of Jesus, if you go study that organization, and I'm not part of them. I want to be very clear. I'm not part of any organization, but if you study the organization itself, it says in their constructs that it was a sliding scale between angels and demons. Positive and negative, anode and cathode, being polarized down here. And when you start to go a certain way on the scale, when you start to get negative, when you start to get fearful, when you start to get into the negative acidic aspects of life, you move toward the demons. And it's just very possible that when you make those choices through free will, if that's how this reality works, if you move past the color of green and you move, this is the balance now, and you go to the lower chakras, you go to the red and the orange and the yellow, just look to the skies when the sunset. The sun goes from yellow to orange to red and then it disappears, indicating the acidic chakras, moving away from you, moving down. The sliding scale, I feel, is how it works. So if you subject yourself to environments that are acidic, then perhaps the puppet master comes in and starts to play you on the demonic side. And now you're being worked over by those energies, the Darth Vader energies. And you're like, you know what? This is not working for me. I don't like this. You may have to get help. You may have to get an exorcism, whatever. And then you finally get back to the color green, to the balance, and now at least you're neutral to observe both sides and be like, wow, that was a really rough ride. I was really scraping the bottom of the barrel there. I don't want to do that anymore. And just sit in the middle. And you're going to play. All of us have the acid and the alkaline always playing out, the angels and demons, one on each shoulder, just whispering in your ear, come play with me, come play with me. And if you go towards the angels completely, see you later. Bye, Nirvana, you're out of here. See you later. On that side of the spectrum. Because remember, on the sliding scale, the pH, the potential hydrogen in the body, if you just use the mechanics of the body, if you get too alkaline, you'll die. If your blood gets too alkaline, you're dead. If you get too acidic, you're dead. You need to be slightly love. It's very simple. You will never escape the clutches of the demons because that is all where the fun's at. The fun is in the demonic realms. And we have to just have fun with these words, demonic, because it's the demon of the man. It's the D-man. It's going below man. It's becoming an animal. That's why that's why I'm plant-based. That's my choice. What are plants? They're green, neutral. It gives you the fighting chance, at least, to be observant of both sides of the coin. And of course, both sides are the same. They form the battery. Two sides of the same coin in numerology equals 91. How about that? Two sides of the same coin, 91. Battery equals 91. Because the anode and cathode, the battery that we serve, the angel and demon, the Yoda, the Darth Vader, however you want to look at it, you carry a red lightsaber, you carry a green lightsaber, or a blue one. You are either working for each side. I mean, Star Wars did it great with the Force. How do you want to use the Force? You're going to use it both ways. There was plenty of times in Star Wars where Luke got pissed off and almost went to Darth Vader. That hatred, the anger, we all experienced that. And I think it's inescapable. I think you may be able to, you may be able to control the primal. That's just the primal. If you watch the movie Venom, that was the primal with Tom Hardy. That was an indication of showing you the primal. Feed me. I want to go eat people's heads. I want to kill people. That's all primal. And then him trying to push it down. No, you ain't coming out. That's all primal. So it's just all a matter of controlling it. Denise, no fun in the lower demonic realms. Well, this right here is a glass of wine. This is demonic right here. This ain't angelic. This is demonic. Why am I drinking it? I'm not drinking it to become an angel. I'm drinking it because I like the taste of it. It's got, and the health benefits. It's got resveratrol. But I mean, let's be authentic and real with ourselves. It takes the edge off. It gets me a little bit more sociable. This is not angelic right here, but yet people drink it. And there's a lot of fun with this, right? So that's how I roll with this. Can't take it so serious. Because if you think you're not living in any demonic realms, you're kidding yourself. You're lying to yourself. It's inescapable. Man, I got this fly buzzing around, and I'm going to tell you, buddy, don't come around here anymore. I'm giving you a chance. Denise, it's good for you. Well, it is. It has resveratrol in it. But if you really weigh out this pros and cons, this has more cons than pros. Because this right here is straight acid. That's why it has that harsh taste. Even if it's smooth, any alcohol is fermented, it's changing the structure of the grape. That's what gives you the buzz. This is straight acid right here. There's nothing base about this. Nothing. It's all demonic. It's all lower chakras. That's just straight science right there. It's not even my opinion. That's a fact. There is nothing angelic about this glass of wine. Nothing. It's all acidic. I mean, you don't have to agree with me, but if you just want to talk shop on science, I mean, I'm giving you facts here. I'm not giving you my opinion. Wine is acidic. Straight up. It's not alkaline. But again, it's like, you know how many people are addicted to coffee? I know there are coffees that now are coming out that are supposedly base or alkaline, but the majority of coffee that's drunk in the world today is acidic. It's like 3. What's the payoff that you get with it? Why do people really drink coffee? Because they get a stimulant out of it. But it's acid. It's just straight up acid. Well, again, Denise, you don't have to agree. I mean, it's all good. Well, all that matters is what your truth is. But again, what do you disagree with? The science of it being an acid, or, I mean, you can go look up wine. It's an acid. It's not alkaline at all. I mean, alkaline is angelic, acid is demonic. Anode, cathode. It's really simple. That's why there's the pH scale. And blood is the truth teller because blood is around 7.3, 7.4. It hovers right around there. If it would go any higher or lower, you wouldn't be alive. And it's programmed. It's typed into the source code that way. So it's just past the 7, which is green. So it's slightly love, slightly angelic, slightly on the alkaline side. Blood is. And that's all we need to know. Slightly alkaline. That's where you're going to have the best experience, which is right in the middle, neutral. The body is a sliding scale. You need both to survive. Salty Siren, absolutely. Yeah, alcohol equals 29. Acidic equals 29. There you go. Danny Wilson, also it makes you stupid. It can make you stupid. One glass of wine's not going to make, I don't think, it doesn't make me stupid anyway, but Ronald says it's poison. Yep. There's nothing alkaline about this. This is demonic right here. It's acid. It's pretty simple. But yet here I am enjoying a glass of wine. This Cabernet that I'm having. What am I doing? I'm enjoying life, man. That's what life's supposed to be. Life's supposed to be enjoyed. David's, any thoughts on the grand solar minimum? No, but I have been decoding the coronal mass ejection, which is equaling number 71, which is equaling Lucifer. Lucifer, in my opinion, is the sun. And even the word coronal equals 28, mass ejection, which is a solar flare. We are in solar flare number. They measure these in like numbers. The last big one was solar flare number, the time period was the solar flare number 10. The period, the era, whatever you want to call it. We're now into solar number 25, and they're expecting one, according to Wikipedia, and you can't believe everything that says, but they're anticipating the big one to be in 2025. My research has led me into 2026. I don't know what's going to happen with that, and this is just purely speculation. But I'm decoding that, the CME. With the sun. Yep. Christine Buckley, enjoy life, be the best version you can be. Stop worrying about what others think. Speak and live your truth. I totally concur with you 1,000%. I will definitely say that is what I do. Because, you know, when you go down and you decode as much as I do, as much as some of you great decoders, you realize like it's all part of the source code. It's being run and operated by the source code, and you can see the source code playing out at all times. So then what options are we to let? What options are we left with? Just enjoy life. That's why I got this tattoo on my hand right here. One of the reasons why I got the sun on my hand was to tell me how ridiculous this reality is. And just smile. It's funny. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You're going to move for that. It's not going to move for you. So you can decode till you're blue in the face. Like I do. Doesn't matter. Because this reality is going to do what it's going to do, irregardless of my participation, your participation, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so let's talk decoding here. What do we got? Ben Martin, I thought the Christ was the sun. The Christ can be the sun. The Christ has been linked to the sun. I mean, the Christ came to earth, supposedly the story, so the Christ can also be earth. The Christ can be the moon. Jesus equals 18. Christ equals 18 in Chaldean numerology. The 18th card in the tarot is the moon card. Is Jesus the moon? I mean, the moon is the god of sin. Jesus is supposed to wash your sins away when you get baptized in water, and the moon runs the tides in water. We're made up of water. So is it very possible that Jesus is really the moon? Because you ain't going to if you go out on a full moon, you ain't going to get moon burned. But if you go out in the hot days of summer and stay out there in the sun for many, many hours, you'll get red as a lobster. Many of you will. You'll get sunburn, but you ain't going to get moon burned. So which one would best represent Christ? The moon or the sun? Well, I'll leave that to you. Just things to think about. But when you synchronize the numerology, Jesus and Christ both equaling 18, and then the 18th card in the tarot. I'm not saying the tarot is going to be the end-all decision for you to make your finalized decisions, but the 18th card in the tarot is the moon. And the 18th element's argon. Argon is one half of, there's the moon. Argon is AR. And then potassium, the following element, is K. It's the Ark of the Covenant. The sun and the moon are the Ark of the Covenant. They make the Ark of the Covenant. I feel that's the way it works. And if Jesus has a crown, well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. Those of you that are maybe new, I'm going to drop a bomb for you. When you're done with this transmission, when you're done with it, go into the bathroom, turn on your lights, and look in the mirror really close into your eyes. Look at the pupil, the black dot, the black sun, and look at what's inside your iris, the color, and you're going to see the crown of thorns in there. In every single one of you, you will see the crown of thorns going around your black sun in both your eyes. You'll see it. It's going to be a zigzag all the way. That's the crown, because you are the Christ. You are the devil. And Jesus, the story of it was he came here. Well, okay, maybe it's just you came here to be the Christ. And maybe it's the moon. Could be the moon, because the moon doesn't burn you. Anyway, there's some, interesting stuff about decoding the planets, and, I can't remember her name. I wish she'd call in again, but she had dropped a truth bomb I thought was a truth bomb, was amazing. And she had said, well, the moon was once the sun. I was like, wow, never heard that. I mean, a lot of the planets have multiple moons. We just got one. So are we going through a cycle? Was that moon is it a burnt out sun? That could be the Christ. And the sun that rises and sets every day, maybe that one's next to go out, and then one will replace it. The phoenix will rise again, because the sun's the phoenix. It's really interesting when you get into this stuff and these concepts. Denise, things don't fit into absolutes or boxes. 1,000%, they don't. That's why I say make the truth your own. I stand in my truth, but I'm not going to force it on any of you, and that includes you, Denise. I mean, I think you're a great decoder. You got to make the truth your own. It's not a matter of what I believe. At the end of the day, I don't live in your shoes. I don't live in any of you great decoders. I don't wake up in your shoes. I don't have to pay your bills. My opinion doesn't pay your bills. My opinion doesn't matter when it comes to your overall finalized versions of your beliefs. I am just a tour guide. And my truth is not your truth, which is why I put a disclaimer in front of my videos. But I stand in my truth just like you stand in your truth. Do you not stand in your truth? Of course you do. And it is going to be your ego, your identity, your primal that will go to great lengths to defend your truth. And anything outside of your truth that you've decoded, you will defend it. Even if you don't say anything to somebody. That little voice in your head, that voice that owns you, I feel it owns you, it's going to defend it. You may not say it, but in your voice, you have this conversation going on. And you will defend your identity. Anything outside of your identity that's not part of your identity, you're going to try to squash it. That's part of survival of the fittest. Migs, what do you think about people who label themselves witches, not really understanding the words that come out of their mouth, or spells? Well, I mean, the basic fundamentals of magic is everything we say is a magic spell. That's why they say, hey, how do you spell your name? Can you spell your last name for me? I mean, it's right there in the spoken word. So everything we say is a magic spell. People that label themselves as witches, that's on them. I think a lot of people end up portraying themselves to be certain characters in this reality, and they just don't really know. They don't have the deeper meanings behind what they're claiming themselves to be. But again, it's just, as Jordan has coined, love is allowing, and I've adopted that. And it's just like, if someone wants to be a witch, great, go be a witch. That's fine if you want to go be a witch. It's not my concern, because I don't walk in your shoes and I don't get judged, and I'm certainly not I'm going to strive my best not to judge you. Because my life is my life. What I decode is what I decode. What you decode is what you decode. And that's it. Unable to get through the firmament. I guess, maybe. I mean, the eggshell, I would probably say. The firmament's the eggshell. We live inside the egg. I think ascension is a BS concept. Okay, great. Again, see, folks, this is a matter of like love is allowing. If you believe that ascension is, a BS concept, then that's all that matters. Because we could sit here and debate some of these things, which we're all going to end up doing ourselves anyway, some of these things. But if you think that Mr. Poop thinks ascension is a BS concept, then go keep believing that. It's very possible to take all of this division out of the way. As I have said so many times, maybe you're creating your own fractal. Meaning that you're creating your own life, and whatever you believe in when you die is what you're going to move towards in your next go around, if that is what happens. Because none of us, the fact is, this is a fact now for everybody. No one knows what happens after we die. That's a fact. That is everybody's fact. You don't know what's going to happen after you die. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. Just like this is a glass of wine. You can refute that. But if we lined up 100 people in a jury and went to court on, is this a glass of wine? 100 out of 100 jurors would say, that's a glass of wine. Or it's wine. If you lined up 100 people out of 100 people, great decoders like yourself, what happens when you die? The answer should be, I don't know. And you may give your opinion, but it's not a fact. It's an opinion. So let's talk decoding. Soul is part of the beast matrix and our spirit is forever. Well, I think the soul and the spirit are kind of the same, one and the same, personally. And we are the beast. Once you incarnate, my current understanding of this is once you come down here and play the game, however that looks, you become an animal. That's why a lot of people eat animals. So you become a beast. The beast above is the sun, 666. The beast below is man. It's carbon, 666 element, which is the sixth element, which is the first perfect number, which is the last day of creation in the context of the ancient texts. Not saying it's the end all now, but when you synchronize the days of creation with mathematics, and it's six being the first perfect number, and then you synchronize the tarot card being the lover's card, this is the sixth card. Well, what do you think? And then what's the sixth chakra or the third eye? Are we living inside the mind of the cosmos? Are we just in a dream? Are we just inside of a lucid dream? Think about what lucid dream means. Lucid dream means you know you're dreaming. Does the cosmos know it's dreaming And it's playing out all these characters that we end up saying, oh, I am this and I am that. Lucid dreaming. So let's talk decoding. Let's see what we got for some of your comments here. Salty Siren, the ego cannot die here. It's the physical existence, and to be used wisely, you need who here. I don't really get that comment. Samantha, what about NDE? I don't know what the abbreviation stands for. I guess that's my ignorance. We are in a black hole viewing its white hole projection. You know, it's fascinating. I came out with a decode just yesterday. I was decoding Thomas Edison and the speed of light and a lot of other things and the battery. And I just decided to click on Thomas Edison, and I didn't even know this. But Thomas Edison was the guy who made the first movie studio. He called it Black Maria. When you break it down, it's ridiculous that that's all part of the script. We're living inside of a movie. I'm convinced of that. I'm not going to tell you to be convinced. You got to do your own research. But I have enough research now to support that opinion that we are living inside of a movie, and you ain't in control of it. Essentially, we're living in the Truman Show. Is there inner earth? I think so. John Ferguson, I think so. I think that the earth may be the black sun. That's why we're the cells of the battery, and the battery may be the earth, which is the earth is the actual constructs of the battery itself. If you look at a battery, the battery has cells inside of it, and we are the representation of the cells. So we live inside the self-contained system called Earth. We are the batteries. The cells of the battery. And there's the anode and cathode, the sun and the moon. So the Earth is the containment of that energy, moving the electrical currency back and forth, which gets polarized on the dielectric plane. The dielectric plane is the motherboard. And the sun and the moon are the magnetic and the electric currencies running through that. And our emotions, through love and fear, feed the battery as we get polarized from the positive and negative. So it's all just fractals down. And maybe the earth, inside the earth, there's a black sun, which absorbs the white sun. I don't know what that looks like beyond that. But maybe it's just the earth that's the black sun itself, because the earth doesn't give off any of its own light. So she needs the light from the sun. Essentially, she's a parasite. Earth is a parasite, and it has a symbiotic relationship with the sun. Because the sun delivers the light, which causes photosynthesis and all the other aspects of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the plants, and it's a system, and then the earth needs the light to grow. Just like your body, like if you, those of you that are ladies, if you shave your legs, shave your armpits, what happens if you don't shave it over a week? It grows back. What makes it grow back? The programming in the body does. Why do you got to get a haircut? Because the hair grows, it's alive. Why do trees grow? Because they're alive and they grow. The branches in the tree and the leaves, they grow and they grow. And people trim their shrubs, people cut their grass, people cut their hair. The earth grows, and it grows from a self-contained system, and that self-contained system involves the sun and the moon as the two primary components representing the anode and cathode. And the earth is the battery, and they form the trinity, which forms the magnetism, electricity, and the dielectricity. Which, if you watch my Prison Planet, I covered that. And I don't know how close to the truth that is, but I think it's a really good representation of that. RD, can you decode basketball? Well, I would decode so RD, you said Chaldean is the worst cipher. So I would be using Chaldean for basketball. So I guess I will ask you, if I decode basketball, it's going to be using primarily Chaldean. And since you say it's the worst cipher out there, why would I want to decode basketball? So I'll pose that question to you. Where will we go from there? Since you say that Chaldean's the worst cipher, I would decode basketball with Chaldean. Where will we go from there? That would be my question to you. Saturn isn't Satan. Satan is just the sun. The sun devil. So there's just so many ways you can skin a cat, right? So many ways you can look at the planetary lineups. So many ways that you can look at the chakras with the planetary lineups. So many ways that you can look at the 7 days of the week with the planets. So many different ways to look at this. My current level of understanding at this stage of my life, subject to change, I am on the belief that Saturn is the 7th planet in the solar system. And that is a synchronization of Judaism, because of course they're all about Saturn, and their 7th day of the week is Saturday. Saturn, to synchronize it even more, to support that, Saturn has the ring, which is the crown. The 7th zodiac sign, for all you great Libras, it's Libra. And what is Libra? The representation of the two scales. And what is Saturn? Saturn controls the harvest, the scales, whether you're going to make it or not, the karma going up and down. It's very fitting, I think. And that would make Jupiter planet number 6. And planet number 6 is synchronized with the chakra, the third eye. And what does Jupiter have on it? The great red spot, which is, I feel, is the third eye. I got a decode coming out on Jupiter Ascending, the movie by the Wachowski brothers or sisters or whatever. I got to pull that one back out and work on it. I got a lot of requests for that one. And that's Abraxas. And that story is just like Jupiter just, feeding off the human being consciousness. The great god Zeus in the Greek mythology. Which, of course, that story of Zeus and the Olympian is tied to Pandora's box. And Pandora's box, the word scripted reality is 47. 47 in the string of the golden ratio is found at digit number 45, and 45 is tied to the words Pandora's box. So think about what I just said. The word scripted reality is 47. The 47 in the string of the golden ratio is found at digit number 45. 45 is tied to the words Pandora's box. And the story of Pandora's box is it was Prometheus and his brother Epimetheus. Forethought and afterthought. I decoded that in pineal gland. And Epimetheus is what opened up Pandora's box. And I feel Epimetheus would be us, the human being experience. Opening up the curiosity of like, oh, hey, what's going to happen if I do this? And the shitstorm comes out. And then all hell breaks loose. Pandora's box. And it's the feminine box because the female is what gives birth to things. So it's the male that's curious. It's always the male chasing the tail. Gotta have fun with this. It's always the masculine chasing the feminine, the male chasing the tail. It's what it's all about, sex, procreation. The drive of the testosterone chasing the estrogen. The masculine chasing, and that's what the story of the fallen angel comes in. The angels looked down, they saw how beautiful the women were. Oh, I want to go get a piece of that. So they incarnate, come down here to play the game. They start, and I don't even know how you would have the giants of Nephilim. How would you even mate with a female who's 1/10 of your size or 100th of your size? When you study the biblical aspect, the human beings were like grasshoppers to the Nephilim. How would the Nephilim mate with a grasshopper? How would you mate with a grasshopper? It's just so many holes in the story. Anyways, kind of went off on a little tangent there. Can I talk about Rahu? Let's talk about decoding. Yes, let's get into some astrology. Rahu, absolutely. I love talking about Rahu. I can be honest with you, as an astrologer, I guess I would probably lean more towards the Vedic, the sidereal. Not all the time, but when I do my readings, I primarily like to, not all the time, sometimes just go with the North Node, the dragon's head, but that's Rahu. And I feel like Rahu in the Vedic and going through the Nakshakras, which are the 27, 28 lunar mansions, which are then brought into the decans of astrology, where it originally came from, and the 10 degrees of each sign. There are 30 degrees in each sign, broken into increments of 3. There are 3 decans inside of astrology signs. So like I'm an Aquarius, born on February 4th. I was in the Western, I'm born into the 2nd decan of Aquarius, which is going to have another ruler to it. Mine's Mercury. So there's just another extended layer of all this when you get into astrology. But Rahu, I feel, is better represented. Even if it's your North Node, the dragon's head, I feel like your best bet is to go research your sidereal chart and look at your Rahu in its respected nakshatra, which is the star seeds. And it'll give you a better rendition of what the hell you're doing here. Because Rahu, aka the dragon's head, is the cause of your entire life. Rahu is the black sun. Rahu is the black hole in your life. Rahu is the cause of everything. How I kind of describe this is, imagine that you are a boat on the water. You are the boat. You're the archetype, the boat. And people get on you and they want to sail you and ride you and hit the throttle, and you're the boat. You're the cause of moving those people across the water. And when the boat moves across the water, it creates an effect, which is the wake from the motor behind the boat. The boat is Rahu. And that boat doesn't give a shit about what it creates behind it as it moves across the water. It's not interested in the wake that it creates behind it and who gets caught up in the wake. Doesn't care about any of that. So Rahu is the cause of everything in your horoscope, in your zodiac, or at least a big piece of that. I'm not saying it's the end all. So you'd be well advised to go look at your nakshatra in your sidereal and figure out what one of the 27 or 28 are you part of in Rahu. Because and a lot of you that are astrologers, you just look at the Western system, but you don't look at the Vedic. You got to look at both, because the sidereal / Vedic seems to be behind the times. It's like I think that was the system that was started it all, and then the tropical came after. And the sidereal, from all my looks and observations of it, doing these readings over the years, the sidereal seems to be behind. Like time moved and it advanced with the Western, and tropical kind of, it kind of went a little bit more for, like you had the calendars, the Coptic and then the Julian and then now the Gregorian. Why are there 365? It seems like time has stretched. It's fast forwarded. It's gotten faster. And the sidereal and the Rahu placements are a little bit, they're kind of behind, backwards. And there's a lot of truth to the sidereal / Vedic. I'll be coming out with that with my course. How to read your sidereal chart. The easy way, 101, straight up. You don't even need to get a reading from anybody. You can do it yourself if you like to do research. Some of you don't. You want to get a reading, that's fine too. But Rahu is your black hole. And if you don't realize what Rahu's all about, it'll run you ragged. Because, knowing is everything. Let's talk decoding. Let's talk Ophiuchus. Someone's asking about, I don't fully understand Ophiuchus. I don't fully understand Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is the hidden one. In the Nashakaras, in the sidereal, you're going to have a Nashakara number 22, which is the hidden one. The Obijad. Those of you that follow the side, I think I pronounced that right. Those of you that follow the sidereal, it's the hidden one. It's Nashakara number 22. It's not even on the 27 lunar mansions. It would make 28. They've reduced it down to 27. So Ophiuchus is the hidden one. And Ophiuchus typically in the Western astrology is going to fall in the sign of Sagittarius. But it doesn't cover the large span of typical zodiac signs. It's a very small span. So I don't know anything beyond that. You can go and research and read about Ophiuchus. Those of you that are Sagittarians and you fit in that gap of Ophiuchus, the 13th sign. But, in my Superstar Decoded Part 1 and Part 2, I showed the patterns of the sun, and it's not in patterns of 12, it's in a pattern of 13. And if you are a fan of the septenary, it's the 171. 7 being in the center, 7 being the color green, 7 being the great balancer. And then on the ends would be the month of December on both sides. And that's how the sun moves. The sun moves in a V-shaped or a boomerang-shaped pattern. And that's where you're going to get the diamond from, because it moves and makes a diamond shape. Lucy in the sky with diamonds, which I'll be coming out with on my Superstar Part 3 Decoded. I have that one. Probably going to release that in the next couple of days because I've had it sitting on my computer, and I'm leaving to go to the U.S. next week, and I'm not taking my main computer with me, and so I probably have to get that one done over the weekend. So you guys will be in for a treat. This one's going to drop a lot of truth bombs. I got some Masonic information in there that will fit into this and why they talk about Lucifer and where it fits in. And the square and compass is just the shape of a diamond. Go take the Masonic compass, the square and compass. You can fit a diamond right inside there. Why is that? Because it's the patterns of the sun, folks. Multiverse speaks. I didn't know Ophiuchus was number 22. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that it possibly could be. I think that's what it is, but it would then throw a big curveball into everything because Ophiuchus is known as the 13th sign, and when you take the patterns of the sun, 13 would be at each end. Or it could be anyway. So there's so many ways to break this down. So many ways you can fit these things into what we're talking about. Oh, someone mentioned Orion, so let me speak on that. Actually, I'm going to post this. Let me find this. Those of you that have read into the star seeds, someone had said something about Orion, so let's talk decoding about Orion. And I'm going to say this with very much authenticity, and I'm going to use myself as an example. And I want you to use this as a bridge to link it to your life and what you see through the eyes and lenses of your eyes. Ever since I can remember, before I ever can say I was awake, even back to when I was in the religion that I was in growing up, as far back as I can remember, I have always looked up to the sky, and I instantly have noticed so many times, without even looking, the constellation Orion. It was like so habitual for me. I would just be urged to look up to the sky, and my head would turn a certain way, and there's Orion. I just did it the other day. Look up to the sky, and I look up to the sky, and there's Orion, and it's the first thing that I see. Folks, this has happened to me so many times, I can't even tell you, countless times throughout my life. And I'm not huge into talking about the star seeds, but there's something to this. The Pleiadians, the Orions, the Arcturians, the Sirians. These are all ideas and concepts and constructs. I don't know where they came from, but where does everything come from? It comes from the idea of our minds. What's running that? So if you fancy the star seeds, if you are aligned with one, if you feel a pull, if you can kind of narrate your life like I said, every 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times, when I have the urge to look up at the sky, the very first thing that I always typically see is Orion. And I have been fascinated with it my whole life. And even when I was asleep, I didn't know. And when I researched the star seeds and I read about Orion, it was like getting punched in the face with truth. And I was like, this is it. This is where I'm from. I mean, I've read through them all. And there are similarities in the other ones. But then I just say, well, why do I keep looking up and seeing Orion? Why am I being constantly reminded of Orion? Well, I got my answer. So, you only see Orion in the winter season? No, because I saw it last night, so I don't know what you mean by that, Ocean Pacific. I see Orion all the time. Anyway, I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna pin this. So if you're interested in the star seeds, here's a cool reference, a website. I pinned it at the very top of the chat. Click on it and read about the star seeds. But again, it's not just reading it and saying, oh yeah, okay, I'm decoding myself and that, yeah. But do you have anything like I have? Like I'm constantly looking up and 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times, there's Orion staring me in the face. And I'm just fanatic about the pyramids and the Great Pyramid of Giza and Khufu, and these are all the Orion's belt and those 3 star seeds. And then just the whole depiction of Orion. Orion. O. The O. It's just really, for me, it's just really a lot of truth bombs dropping. So I would encourage all of you to maybe connect the dots like that for yourself. And again, I'm just saying, having fun with this because this is the terminology starseed. I don't even know where the hell I'm from. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here in a lot of ways. I got to have fun with this. I know that I'm in exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm this tour guide. I've labeled myself with these nouns and adjectives describing who I am. I know what my code is. I can see it. I barely show anything about myself because it's not about me. It's not about me. Right? But if you resonate with what I just said about decoding yourself and you feel like you're from a star seed, well, maybe there's something to it. What zodiac is Orion in? I don't know. I don't know what zodiac sign Orion is in. I mean, who knows? You got Betelgeuse, you got Rigel, or Rigel, or however you want to pronounce that. But that's how I feel about the star seeds. I really haven't gotten into them, but when I read about Orion and then I just connected the dots of like, why do I always look up and there's Orion staring me in the face? There's got to be something to this because there are no accidents. I mean, if you're seeing, these are patterns for me. The pattern is I look up to the sky and I see Orion. What patterns do you see? See, that's what I'm saying. People want to know, like, oh, okay, I get a lot of emails from people. How do I decode? And I always, go to my How to Decode Yourself video. Start there. It's an hour long, hour and 5 minutes, 10 layers. Start bridging the gaps of the things that you feel are your code. And then you start to get closer and closer, and you're trying to remember. The word remember, do again, remember. You want to become a member of what you And is 185. Which is 95, which is the I am. You want to remember who you are, the I am. Pure truth seeker of truth. Star seeds equal new age, 5D, pure psyop. Well, I mean, if that's what you want to believe, great. I mean, again, it's all a matter of making the truth your own. But for me, I don't know how else to describe what I'm sharing with you. I mean, why would I keep looking up and automatically staring? Folks, I don't even share some of the stuff. Some of the stuff, if I were to show you what I do for magic, what I do daily, and the cards, I sit here with a deck of cards. I can grab a deck of cards. I can grab a deck of cards now. I just grab a deck of 52 cards, 53 with the Joker. And I ask it questions. And I don't speak out loud. I do not speak out loud. I just ask them in my mind and I flip the cards. And I'm so in tune with everything now, I get my answers from the cards. And it is so accurate. Some people would say that's scary. So, is that a psyop? Is that New Age? That's just one layer. Then I look at everything in my life that, like, I'm here in Mexico, and I can show you all the signs of why I came here to Mexico. I was supposed to come here. Is that a psyop? Folks, there's no computer running me in the sense of man running a computer, a quantum computer that's running my thoughts. There may be a computer that's running this reality, but it ain't run by man. And the depth that I have decoded from, I don't even show you half the stuff that I come out with, is so advanced. I don't even know how to describe it. Other than I mean, I know what it means, but I can't even come out with this kind of stuff. I already get persecuted enough by the stuff I come out with. People don't understand something or understand something, they automatically reject it. Oh, that's just mental gymnastics. Oh, that's just stupid. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, you're trying to stretch things. It's like, dude, I'm trying to teach you trigonometry and you're just learning your multiplication tables. How am I supposed to teach you trigonometry? It's not a matter of me trying to be better than anybody. Some of you great, like Kevin Clark, Ethan Rucker, some of the great decoders out there that have minds that are way beyond the basic. We all started with basic decoding. But it's like you put these people into a room with somebody who just started decoding or just is using the 4 basic ciphers. And they just couldn't even keep up. It'd be so hard to take the information and dummy it down and put it into something where they would be able to actually say, oh yeah, okay, I can see that. And that's just, it's the gradients, folks. It doesn't mean if you're at an advanced level, you're better. Like if you're playing the piano and you have somebody who's like a Mozart, imagine you're hanging out with Mozart growing up, who was composing at the age of 4. Let's say Mozart, you're hanging out with, you're a piano player. Maybe you're, I don't know, whoever's hanging out with Mozart back then. And you're like a beginner and Mozart's like an advanced piano player. And he's trying to teach you all these other things, these bridges. And you're like, whoa, dude, I'm just trying to peck on the damn piano. Does it mean that Mozart's wrong because he's playing the piano at an advanced level? That's absurd. But that's what this decoding world has come to. If someone doesn't understand the way you decode, doesn't mean that it's wrong for that decoder. And there are gradients to it. There are gradients to decoding, just like everything else, ladies and gentlemen. So rather than cause division, just be cool with what people do. Don't just dismiss what they're doing because you don't understand it. Because you may be at a level of general math, like, oh, okay, I just learned 3 times 3 is 9. That's what I just learned. And then you're trying to bring in these formulas of like quantum physics and photons and light and all that stuff. Like, okay, hey, let me show you what I got. Let me show you the stuff that I found. And they dump it in your lap. You're like, whoa, dude, that shit's stupid. What are you talking about? The speed of light being measured at that? That's stupid bullshit. But yet that's what the decoding world's all about. That's what I see major flaws in it. That's what people do. They don't understand your formalizations because they're stuck in their basic formulas. And we all start at the basic levels, mind you. It doesn't mean that you're better than somebody because you have a formula that's more advanced. But don't sit here and try to dismiss. Like I get all this persecution from other people that, whatever. And again, these are my truths. that work for me and what I see. And then there's other great decoders that I see. They have these other great minds. And I'm like, wow, how did you come up with that? And I could be a total dick and I'd be like, that's bullshit. Oh, that's stupid. You're just trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. But I don't even see what they see. And then you get labeled oh, you're this and you're an agent. You're working for, it's like, what? Dude, I'm just a regular dude decoding. I'm just here trying to help the world make sense of this place. And you're being a total douche because you don't understand the level that I'm at. It's just absurd, this decoding world that we're in right now. Oh, God. What's up, Sabrina? We are talking decoding, and Logan's going on some rants. So we're talking about decoding. Let's talk decoding. So we're talking about trying to keep this decoding. Just remember, man, if you aren't at the level of decoding that someone else is, don't just dismiss or say it's bullshit or you're not making sense or you're nonsensical things, labeling it to somebody else's work or research. Just let them do them. If you're interested in someone's system like mine, I have my own methodology that I came up with. And a lot of the things that I come out with are new, groundbreaking. I mean, I don't even want to use that word. Things I come out with my decoding, I have discovered. Okay, for whatever reason, I discovered them. I'm not looking for a trophy. I'm not looking for a ribbon. I'm not looking for pats on the back. I'm not looking for people to take me out for drinks. I'm not looking for donations. I'm not looking for people to give me praise or any of that kind. I could care less. But at the same time, I'm not looking for moronic comments and people just putting down their persecution kind of comments because they don't understand this information. You know, we all started at a certain level, and it's the same with these people that are like, oh, they'll be sitting there saying, there's the sheeple. They'll be labeling people as sheeple, and yet you were a sheeple at one point. Everybody was. Every single one of you watching this transmission right now, at one point, if you want to label it as such, you were asleep. You were a sheeple. And then when you wake up, now you have now you got the ammunition to start firing the Uzi at people who are asleep because you're better than them now. And that's the same thing in the decoding world. You look at somebody and, oh, well, that's all bullshit. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And then you start just, the adjectives come out and what is this world coming to, man, with the decode? Like, what is going on with you, ladies and gentlemen? What happened to love is allowing? What happened to just like, do your shit, man? Let other people do their stuff. Why you gotta go on people's channels and talk smack? Because you don't understand their information? So now it's not true? May not be true for you. It's insane how much hypocrisy goes on in the decoding world. It's insane how much, and I'm not immune to any of this, so I'm being authentic to say I'm part of this as well. It's insane how we, as in the decoding world, are so quick to pass judgment. We're so quick to point the finger. When the person's just putting out their truth, that's it. I mean, what's next? Are we going to start fighting because you don't like the same color as me? Or you don't like the same number as me? You don't decode like I do, so I'm wrong and you're right? I don't use the 4 base ciphers, and I use Chaldean, and I say it's the top dog cipher, and you don't like that, so it's like you got to just go at war with me? That's what causes division. We're trying to come together here, folks. We're trying to collaborate. Trying to just drop the testosterone here for a little bit. That was kind of my rant. Sorry, folks. Yeah, surfer dude. I feel the majority of the folks calling others sheeple are one of themselves. Anytime you end up giving somebody a name, you're just looking in the mirror and calling yourself that. Or because you just don't own your shit and you just feel like you're insecure, you got to call somebody else that name. So I'm saying, just remember where you were. Just look back, maybe. Again, this decoding, if you go all the way back, obviously I'll mention and I'll give respect, to Zach, because he was one of the founding fathers of decoding, really. So I respect that. I don't agree with everything he says, but I respect the fact that he was one of the founding people of the decoding world. I got started because of him and Marty Leeds. Those are the two guys that I kind of give credit to. Two different styles, two different methodologies, two different ways to observe things. But before that even got started, just say, because I think Zach would say I started in 2012, whatever, 2000, let's just say 2010. Before 2010, no one was decoding like this. 12 years ago, nobody was decoding like this. Nobody. Everybody was asleep, in a sense. You're not awake as the level that you're awake now. Having the wisdom and knowledge and seeing all the source code playing out, all the characters, and seeing people say the ritual, whatever you want to say, you didn't have that knowledge 10 years ago. All of a sudden now, because you got the knowledge, now you're just a sheep, you wouldn't get it. But you're talking to someone who's at their grade level mathematics and you're at a trigonometry level because you got the decoding efforts behind you. But then it's all gradients, ladies and gentlemen. But see, the key, the trick is to be this. Neutral. Not passing judgment because someone doesn't get what you're getting. Because they don't see what you see. The key to life is being neutral. Slightly love. Love is allowing. Okay. I see you're at that level of decoding. I see it all the time on social media. People decoding stuff and they're just coming around and they're way behind. And if I compare myself to some of these decoders, I'm just being authentic. They're way behind. They just got years of decoding to come to get to the level of experience that I'm at. Doesn't mean that I'm the godfather of decoding. Not looking for the title. It's like someone going through law school. Someone who's at their 4th year of law school, someone who just got into the 1st year. Which one's going to have more experience? Obviously the one that's at their 4th year. Doesn't mean they're a better person. Doesn't mean they're going to become a better lawyer. Doesn't mean shit. All it means is they got 3 more years. That's it. But everybody starts at the same spot. And I see it on social media a lot of people that are just getting into the decoding. And it's fun to see that. I was once there and I appreciate where I once was. But the division, folks, in decoding, we're talking about decoding the division, man. That's got to stop. If we're going to come together and make sense of all of this and collaborate and come together and it's all one love here. That's how I see it anyway. Hallie 74, neutrality is the highest vibration. Absolutely. Because it's in the very dead center, the bullseye of the anode and the cathode. You go too far to the left or right of one or the other and you've just slipped your power. So the containment of power in a battery is in the dead center. It's in the middle. It's green. It's the great balancer. Lots of skeletons in the Pentagon. Let's hope your guy is a white hat. Don't care about politics because they're all being used and they're all owned by the same source. Don't play those games. Don't care. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in the decoding world, we're talking about, let's talk about decoding. In the decoding world, it's gradients. You start off at a certain spot and then you work your way into a different position. And as you move through time, you become more advanced, more knowledgeable, you have more experience. Then you look back at once where you were and you start to see people that are starting to break their eggshell and they're like, oh, I'm going to get in the decoding world. And it's all the same in every industry. Learning a musical instrument. Think about the job. Some of you that are at jobs, think about the leveling up you've done in your jobs, and then you look at the positions you once held. Like if you're a manager at your company and you started out at working at your desk, you're looking now at the person sitting at the desk that you sat on. You're like, shit, I was once there. Man, look at how far I've come. And what are they trying to do? Well, I mean, not everybody's going to try to do what you're trying to do, but obviously the name of the game when you get into a company is to excel and get to the higher positions. And again, not everybody's going to do that. No politics or sports. Tam. Well, I mean, it's part of this reality, politics and sports, and it's the word sports equals 27, the word currency equals 27. Do I even need to say any more, folks? The word sports and the word currency both equal the number 27. 27 is tied to a prime number. Do I even need to say any more? I used to be a huge proponent of politics. I used to give it my energy. And then I realized what it was, how the constructs of it were, and I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. Because they don't give me anything in return. And I don't want to play that game. So I don't play the game anymore. D348, the more advanced decoder you become, the more open-minded you become. Hopefully. Yeah, that is the name of the game, right? The more advanced you become in your decoding, once you get down into the hole and you get the secrets, you realize actually that you know absolutely nothing. See, because when you're at the surface, it's ignorance is bliss. It's easy up at top. It's easy up there. And then when you descend down and you go into the hole, you're like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. It's like all this new world opens up. And then you have a lot more responsibility because you got a lot more things to take into consideration. Chris H., you have been called out as a bullshitter. Sure, I've been called many things. It's all good. People's opinions don't pay my bills, and people's opinions don't have any effect on my decoding. I can tell you that. It's all good. The great thing about it is there's a lot of rookies that don't know how magic works. And, the energy that comes to you as a person, and this, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about you now. The energy that comes to you as a person, if you know how to transmute that, then it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, you just transmute it. So that's why, there's a lot of rookies out there, and they're just coming at you. They're trying to come at you with this testosterone, like, oh, I'm going to come beat you up. I'll just transmute the energy. I mean, that's just how it is. It's a lot of fun once you know how the game works. David Wallowshack, decode the Rubik's Cube. I did decode the Rubik's Cube. It's in one of my decodes. I cannot remember. I have so many out there. But the Rubik's Cube is in one of my decodes. I just don't know which one it's in. But I have it included. Which was by a German guy, Mr. Rubik himself. I think he was from Germany. Well, Chris H., you made your case, but it is flimsy. Well, again, I that's all good. You got to make the truth your own. I stand by my decodes. My research speaks for itself, and many of you great decoders have done research in addition to or standalone, and just confirms everything. So, like, the proof's in the pudding, and then the pudding is good in the eating. So if you just go look at the videos, 260, almost 270 videos now showing the same patterns. That's what I would show up with in a court of law to support my opinion. Is all the decodes I have, and they're all showing the same patterns using the same methodology over and over and over again. So it's not like just trying to stretch anything, so I just stand by that. I'm all about offense, scoring points. I'm really not for defense and trying to defend, because defense doesn't put any points on the board. It's offense that puts points on the board. So the guy that invented the Rubik's Cube is from Russia. Okay, I stand corrected. I thought he was from Germany. Okay, I stand corrected. Robert Jerome, I've been looking at coordinates and adding them together. Yeah, folks, I would encourage you, if you're a decoder, let's talk decoding. Let's talk about latitude and longitude, coordinates. The latitude is the energy coming down, and the longitude is the energy going across. Essentially, I see it as magnetism and electricity, the two waves that are kind of entangling together. And you're talking about latitude, longitude coordinates. You should be looking up your place of birth. You should be looking up the latitude, longitude of the place you're in right now. You should be looking up the first home you were born into. You should be looking up the hospital that you were born at. There's a lot of different ways to look at the latitude, longitude. I mean, Wuhan, China, which I covered in my decode of that topic, ends up adding up to the number 144. 144 is tied to the number 666. I think it's 144 digits into the string of pi adds up to 666, which is the beast. And Wuhan, China, when you add up the latitude, longitude, it's 144. If you haven't seen my White Rabbit Resurrections Decoded, the latest Matrix, which came out, a lot of you have watched it. I showed in that one specifically the latitude, longitude of Keanu Charles Reeves and Carrie Moss, who played Trinity, his partner in The Matrix. I used them exclusively. Their distance in between their cities, the latitude, longitude of their cities, the name of their cities, and how ridiculously coded the whole thing was. Those two people, the actor and actresses that played the main characters in The Matrix. If you haven't seen my Matrix Resurrection Decoded, I did part 1 and part 2. I think it was in part 2 that I did with the Carrie Ann Moss and Keanu Charles Reeves. Ridiculous code. Source code. Ridiculous. And I did the latitude, longitude in there, and it's insane. She wants Miko. Defense wins championships. Well, I look at it as if no one scores a bucket, then it becomes a tie and no one wins. Someone must score a point in most sports. Now, there are exceptions. So defense wins championships. Well, it's part of the winning. However, most sports require you to score a point. So if there is no point scored, there is a tie, which is not a win. To win the game, typically, you must score a point. So it's the offense that is what is needed to win the game, not the defense. Now, I'm not saying the defense doesn't win championships, because you can be argued on that. But again, if you're just using basketball, baseball, soccer, football, Someone's got to score a point to get out of that zero position. And defense, and obviously there are exceptions because you can score a safety in defense and get the 2 points in football. So there are exceptions. I'm going on averages. And the average is the offense must score the points. That would be my draw to that. Yeah, baseball. You gotta score a run. Someone's got to cross home plate. That doesn't involve defense. That involves offense. And if you just look at the words offense and defense, the O and the D, you'll have more keys to the kingdom. Defense is demon. Defending. Defending. Offense is O. O is oxygen. O is the 15, which is tied to the devil, coincidentally. Caroline Ray, if I'm just learning to decode, how do I know when to extract meaning if I might not know how much context I'm missing? Caroline, there are no rules in decoding. The more you're willing to spend decoding, the better off you're going to be. It's just like anything else. So when you start to keep track of the numbering patterns and the systems that you use, you're going to start to see repeating numbers. And that's when you know you're onto something. And, if you just use the methodology, the basic methodology that I use in decoding, you start with numerology. Numerology, you go into the string of the golden ratio and the string of pi. You get into the pure mathematics. You get into prime numbers. So there are 3 layers right there. Just that alone. I'm not against any of the other ciphers, but I have shown continuously how Chaldean's tied directly into the tarot, directly now. It's directly tied into the animal cards. It's directly tied into the cards of illumination. Directly. That's why I don't even need to use any other cipher to figure out the narrative of how this reality works. You see, if you open up the 4 base ciphers of decoding, you have the English, 1 through 26, A through Z. You have the reduction, which is the 1 through 9, which is the Pythagorean. Then you have the reverses. The 4 base ones. You see, when you type in a word, you're going to get 4 outcomes, typically. Sometimes there will match, but typically you will have 4 separate outcomes with the 4 base ciphers. And then the question I would pose to you decoders, then what the hell do you do? What do you do there? You got 4 different outcomes. It just muddied the waters. You started with the root of a tree and you just put 4 branches on it. Where do you go from there? See, if you just use one cipher, which is what I did for years. I'm so glad I did. And again, these are my truths. You don't have to agree with them as a decoder. I was originally started off with the septenary because I just really valued Marty Leeds stuff back in the day. And then I found Chaldean. And that was it. And I'm not saying it's the end all for you. But I will encourage you as a decoder, just use one cipher. See, because it's exciting when you put the 4 base ciphers, you're like, oh my God, I got a match here, and this word equals that, and you get the reverse full reduction is the same as this word, and it's like, but where do you go from there? Because so many words equal so many words using the 4 base. When you use the 4 main ciphers, it gives you more chances. It's like playing the lottery, and I'm going to buy 1 ticket, and you're going to buy 10. Who has the better odds? You do. You have the better odds of winning the lottery if you use many different ciphers. You have better odds of connecting more words to numbers if you use more ciphers. But if you want to get super accurate, just use one. Create your foundation. And you could do it with any of them. But people don't like that because you don't get as many hits. So my suggestion as a decoder, I've been doing this a long time. I have countless hours in this. And the proof and my support is in my research. Stick with one. Chaldean and English are the 2 primaries that I use. And if you're going to decode Hebrew and Greek, go to those ciphers. If you're going to decode the biblical stuff and you're decoding Old Testament, try to go to the Hebrew, the Aramaic, because that's the original text it came from. But I see a lot of people, they are like, oh, why aren't you using the 4 base ciphers? If that's great, but I'm saying is you have more chances of connecting your hits with 4 than I do with 1. But my 1's I feel it's gonna be more accurate. It's gonna be more of a foundation for me. So you stick with 1, and I'm gonna suggest you use the Chaldean. Why do I suggest the Chaldean? Because you see, I'm not just a decoder, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a numerologist. And numerology is the science of numbers. And the oldest known numerology cipher in the world is Chaldean. If you talk to any numerologist that knows a thing or two about numerology, they will tell you Chaldean is the oldest. Now, that doesn't mean that you should be like, okay, that's it, I'm going to hang my hat on there. No, I'm just giving you a little bit of insight. Chaldean's the oldest. Chaldean works off of phonetics. It goes off of frequencies and the shape of the letters. And the Chaldean is also connected directly to the tarot cards. The reverse ordinal, it's not going to be connected to this directly. I've tried to do it. It's not. You see, I want to have this as a tool. I don't just want to say, well, that word equals that, and there's a connection there. No, I want to get a picture with it. We think in pictures. I want to get a secondary layer that's going to be important to my decoding. Then I take numerology, Chaldean, and I bring it into the string of pi, which makes up the perfect circle, the measurement of a circle. Then I connect the Chaldean with the string of the golden ratio. And it's not only just me, it's many of you great decoders as well who has shown time and time and time again how invaluable the string of pi and the string of golden ratio is when finding your results with the results from numerology and bringing it into these mathematical equations. So we have the string of pi, the string of the golden ratio. We have the tarot, and then we have the cards of illumination, the typical 52 deck cards that you play poker, gin rummy, fish, hearts, spades, all that kind of stuff. These are tied into Chaldean directly. And then I have my medicine cards, 52 deck. I don't have those with me, but the animals, insects, reptiles, birds, those are directly connected as well. So I have multiple layers connected to one cipher. I don't have to use multiple numerology ciphers that give me a host of outcomes. Like if you type in the word God and you use the 4 main ciphers, the 4 basic ciphers, you get the number 26, you get the number 17, you get the number 55, and you get the number 10. Where do you go from there? Where do you connect these? The biggest standout is the 26 because the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh is 26. 101 is the 26 prime number. So that's obviously a big standout. Then the full reduction, you have the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh being the 17 in the Chaldean. 26 reduces down to the number 8, so you have a connection there. But then you have the 55 in the reverse, which is a 1, which is the complete opposite of the 8. And then you have a 10 in the reverse, which is a 1. So you have a 1 and an 8. They're completely different. Where do you go from there? Where would you go from there as a decoder if you're just using the 4 base ciphers? So many words equal the same words, and it's so watered down. And that's, and then you bring in alchemy. The periodic table is so freaking valuable. So valuable. Chaldeans were part of the people of biblical times. I mean, Chaldeans part of Babylon. I mean, Let me support what I'm saying to all of you great decoders. And again, I'm not trying to convince you. If you type the word Chaldean, this is how I knew that this was a big foundational piece. If you take the word Chaldean and you put it into the Chaldean cipher, it's going to give you a value of 27. Then you go to numberempire.com and you type in the number 103, and it's the 27th prime number. You're like, okay, well, what's the connection to the 103? Well, if you go to the Chaldean cipher again and you type in all 26 letters, A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, it's going to give you a value of 103. 103 is the 27th prime number. Chaldean equals 27 in the Chaldean cipher. That's all the proof I need, ladies and gentlemen, which I have shown in multiple decodes to support how powerful Chaldean is, and that you do not need any other cipher to figure out the reality and how the machinations of this reality works. Stick with just one. If you don't want to use Chaldean, great, use English. If you want to just use reverse full reduction, great, just use reverse full reduction. Get all your words, all your nouns, all the things you decode from in one cipher. It will be much stronger doing it that way. If you do it the other way, your results will be watered down. I've seen it time and time again, being an observer of the code and people decoding. Denise, how about knowing that the game has been usurped by fakers and cheaters with a negative agenda? Those are Darth Vaders, Denise. There are Darth Vaders. There is always a negative and positive, an antagonist and protagonist, always playing out this game. That's the way this game works. So you just appreciate that. And I can tell you right now, the main emotion out of love and fear on this world stage, it's not love. The main emotion that drives us is fear. Love gets us complacent. It gets us lazy. Fear is what moves you. And I'm not talking the fears like, the fear that you may be thinking fear. Fear moves you. Love makes you complacent. And I'm going on averages now. There are exceptions to that. Chaldean and English are tied quite often. Halley 74. Absolutely, because they both go off the numbers 1 through 8. 26 are the numbers of the letters in the English alphabet. 26, 2 plus 6 is 8. Chaldean goes off the number 8. So they're tied together. They're like brother and sister. Can you please do a 4 diamonds video? I would love to. I would have to do all the cards. 4 diamonds is the 30th card in the deck, tied to the rabbit card, tied to the demiurge, tied to the jack in the box. If you want to go see a 4 diamonds video, VNE Venesaw 84. If you want to see a 4 diamonds video, go to my YouTube channel. And go to the search engine. Actually, let me just show you how to do this, because a lot of you don't know how to do this, and I want to show you how to do this. So let me show you. If you go to my channel on the March 16th, this is how you do it. Because a lot of people ask, and I'm like, okay, well, I have all these videos. So if you go to my channel and you just go right here to the little magnifying glass, and you click on that, you can type in any video that I have in my catalog. This is the one that I would suggest that you type in. Jack in the Box. That's how you do a quick search. You just click the little magnifying glass. This one right here has the 4 diamonds in it because it's one of the Jack in the Box cards. Because 4 means the box. 4 means the box. And it's in this decode. The fast food restaurant from the United States, Jack in the Box, it's in there. So I'm way ahead of you. I've already kind of done that. Okay, so that's how you do that, folks. It's very simple. Nine is the finish number. 9 is the repeating number in this reality. That's essentially why all ciphers will eventually work out, because of the number 9. And all ciphers have the number 9. Even like Chaldean doesn't use the number 9, but it does use the number 9. The Sumerian doesn't use the number 9, he uses the 6, but he uses the number 9 because it's multiples of 6. A is 6, B is 12, C is 18, and so on and so forth. But it's the number 9 that is the repeater number. Any number you attach to the number 9 repeats the number that it's attached to. 49 is going to reduce down to 13, which is going to reduce down to 4. 49, the 9 makes the 4 repeat again. 59, 5 plus 9 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. The 9 repeats the 5. 29, 2 plus 9 is 11, 1 plus 1 is 2. The 9 repeats the 2. So any cipher that we use in the decoding world, if it has the number 9 in it, it's going to repeat it and it's going to give it over and over. That's why essentially any cipher that anybody ever creates will eventually work. You just may have to get through a few more layers because of the number 9, the great repeater. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, when you add it up, it's 45, which is Pandora's box. The word Pandora's box equals 45. And that's Saturn's magic square. How about that? Those of you that are fans of Saturn, Saturn's magic square is the dial pad on your phone. And when you add up 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9, it's going to give you 45. What's 45? 4 plus 5 is what? 9. It's the great repeater number. Number 9 is. So let's talk decoding. Let's see what you got. 369, Jane L. 369, law of the universe. Well, 369 is tied to the I am. If you take the element, this is where alchemy comes in. And this may be advanced for some of you, but if you're willing to look at the periodic table, we're made up of these elements, the Elohim, the electricity, the motherboard. The periodic table is the motherboard. And the two elements that make up the I am that I am is iodine and americium. Iodine and americium spell the words I am. And when you add up the weights of those two elements, iodine is 126, americium is 243, it's going to give you 369. I am. The keys to the universe. That's why we're all, I'm big into the Upanishads and the Vedas because it's the oldest known text in the world, but they say we are all incarnations of God. That's why I say we're being used. God is experiencing life, his own game or its own game by using us to come down and become man or woman. That's why you say, I am this, I am that, I am this. Yeah. So you're being controlled remotely by the I am, coming down to experience its own game. Jack is a nickname for the devil. Well, we're all the little devils. And we're all Jacks. And if you ain't a male, you're going to be female, you're going to be the Jill. AC/DC, I had done a decode, the funny humor in The Architect, whatever runs as reality. AC/DC had a song called The Jack. And the latitude, longitude of where that song was recorded or written, I think, leads to the jack. It's just ridiculously funny. And these people weren't sitting down with their latitude. Like, we got to go record this song because it matches up with the jack. No. They were just being used to make the song, to remind you that you're the jack. That's why there's Jack and the Beanstalk. What is Jack doing with the beanstalk? Planting the seed to get the hell out of here. Jack and Jill went up a hill. Jack and the Beanstalk climbed the beanstalk to get the hell out of here. Jack and Jill went up a hill. Broke their crown chakra. It's all there in the rhymes and the nursery rhymes and the poems and the stories. Pure truth, seeker of truth, 1 till 36, 666. Yep. Showed this many years ago. I found this when I was studying alchemy, when I got involved with the periodic table. Hydrogen through krypton, element 1 through 36. When you add them all up, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, all the way to 36 is 666. And when you take those elements and you put them in the chakras, it's going to be the fourth chakra, which is green, the heart, and it's going to be the 4, 3, 2, and 1. It's all the acid side. You see, this reality that we're playing out is heavily involving a lot of pleasure and fun in Pandora's box. That's all lower chakras. And the game needs players, ladies and gentlemen. John Doe. Ethan Rucker is smarter than you think. 1,000% Ethan Rucker is smarter than I know he is. I can't keep up with that dude. Him and Kevin Clark, man, those two dudes I have a lot of mad respect for. That are decoders. Same with Jordan. Jordan at Waters Above Crypto, man. The guy's brain is like, it's on turbo. It's like got a supercharger on it. And I guess that's why the feds made the dollar bill eye and pyramid. Yeah, I mean, the dollar bill has the all-seeing eye on it because that's what we're being used by, is the all-seeing eye. It's inside your brain. It's called the implant. If you cut your brain in half, you get the all-seeing eye, the eye of Ra or eye of Horus, whatever you want to call it. The Egyptian eye, tied to the pineal gland. That's why it's so revered and it's so sacred. And the little voice in your head that's talking right now, the one that you talk to all the time, all of you do it too, by the way. You have a conversation with yourself. That's you talking to whatever's running you. And it's just always a sliding scale. Always a sliding scale. So let's just quickly Alex is asking, what's your opinion on the one world religion? Let's talk decoding one world religion. I don't know. Chrislam, who knows? I don't buy into any of that stuff. Not interested. Personally, for me, I'm a free Logan. That's the joke. People say, oh, you're a Mason. No. They probably wouldn't even like me to be around because I've dumped so much information. I've probably broken a lot of rules if I was, which I'm not. That's why I joke. I'm a free Logan. I respect that organization because I look at it and observe it from an aspect of they have some wisdom and knowledge. I don't look at it like they're evil and they're killing this and they're doing that and they're trying to mess up with you and screw you over and pull the wool over your eyes and all the bullshit that people, because it's a sliding scale. I'm looking at the things of the occult, which just means secret. And they have some of that. The Rosicrucians have some of that. The Golden Order of the Dawn has some of that. I don't look at the evil side. Don't care about that side. There are good and bad in everything, including you. So if you can stop just projecting their evil, because that's what you're focused on, that's what you're going to get in return, set that aside and say, okay, well, because there's duality in everything, there must be duality in the Masons. There must be duality in the Rosicrucians. There must be duality in the Golden Order of the Golden Dawn. There must be duality in the Hermetics. There must be duality in this group and that group, because there is. Which side do you want to look at? Do you want to just take the side of what the dirty laundry is all about? You know, Don Henley had a great song. It's on my playlist. Dirty Laundry. People love their dirty laundry. They love it. Do you know that I go through my analytics on my videos, and the top videos on my channel are based upon fear and negativity? That's what people are interested in. If I put something out that's about unicorns and love and beauty, shit ratings. People aren't interested in that. So, what do you think? Why are people not interested in the stuff that everybody's all about, supposedly? Oh, it's love and unicorns and fluffy marshmallow clowns and leprechauns and finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Oh. People are full of shit. People aren't authentic. That includes all of us. We're trying to be authentic in the inauthentic world. And that includes the decoding world. When you finally wake up and realize that you're not an authentic human being, and you're just like everybody else, and there are gradients to that, realize that, you know, you like the fear more than you do the love. And if you realize how the two emotions work, well, as I say, you have more keys to your kingdom. Wow, I got a really bad, had to delete a, and I got a troll, so I had to take that troll out. But even if you delete the troll, as I did, I put the troll on timeout. Even if I delete the troll, you still saw the message. It still affected you. How much did it affect you? On the level of gradient? A little bit? A lot more? A heavy amount? Get into the double slit experiment. Let's talk decoding in the double slit experiment. I have this decoding coming out. Folks, the speed of light. The speed of light. Speed of light. Speed of light equals 56. Think about what I'm telling you. Speed of light equals 56. Lights, camera, action equal 56. Just using the Chaldean. In the Fibonacci extended cipher that I discovered, the Truman Show equals the number 56. Is that a coincidence? The 56th element is barium. Barium has an average atomic weight of 137 and 137, according to numberempire.com. Thank you to those people that have created that website. 137 is the 33rd prime number. So, does that mean that movies are all Masonic because I found the 33 there? No. It's actually just the opposite. People aren't respecting the numbers. They're just dishing all these other organizations that have found the connections. We're going to stop doing that. Got another troll in here too. I don't know how they even get in here. It's kind of interesting. At least you people are laughing. At least you great decoders are laughing. No fear can be dangerous. Yeah, you can't escape fear. It's the main... Look at around you. What are people doing? You think they're living their lives based on love? The main driver in life is fear, ladies and gentlemen. That's the main driver emotion. Fear. The Tower card. 16. I mean, you want to talk about a connection? Let me show you one. Let me show you great decoders. The tarot now. So, go through all 77 cards. I can't even find the damn card. I'm decoding the speed of light. Now watch this sync. This is insane. I'm going to give you on the fly decode here with the tarot cards and numerology. So the speed of light is derived from an atom. Okay? If you go study the double slit experiment, you go into... Now we're getting into real physics now. Forget about opinions. Let's bring in real physics and light and the speed of light and all that kind of stuff. Got a lot of trolls tonight. It's like 3 in a row I had to put in timeout. Amazing. I just love some of these avatars. You get potty trainer. I take it as a compliment when you get these trolls coming in here or whatever. And if there's real people here just trying to disrupt this thing, thank you. Just transmute the energy. Just put you on mute. But anyway. The word atom. A-T-O-M. Now, if you are a fan of Santos, the great Santos Bonacci, who just lives right down the street. This Santos is amazing. His knowledge base. And he does a lot of things. All is a tomb. God, I got another troll coming in here. Thank God for the automatic. Hang on, folks. Oh, they're really coming out tonight. Wow. I guess I must be setting something off here. Okay. So Santos Bonacci is really all about all is a tomb, which is going to link to ancient Egypt, which goes way back. So I decided to break this down as I'm decoding the speed of light. Speed of light is 56. Light's camera action is 56. 56 is tied to the movie, the projection of a movie. Tied to light. I got I don't know if you guys can see these, but okay. Anyway, I'm trying to get through this. I don't know if you guys can see this nonsense here. Let's get back to what I was saying. So the word atom, I started breaking down light in physics in the double slit experiment. The word atom in Chaldean, again, using Chaldean as my base. The word atom, A-T-O-M, is the number 16, which coincidentally are the days of creation 1 through 6. Where you get Adam and Eve. Adam is phonetically spelled A-D-A-M, but it's also A-T-O-M or A-T-U-M. 16. 16 is the element sulfur, tied to serpent. And it's the letter S, which is the 19th letter tied to the sun. Making the atoms, because the atoms are from light, which comes from the sun. So when you synchronize that with the cards of illumination, you get this card right here. This is the 16th card in the deck. The 3 clubs card. And The person who has this for their birth card is Thomas John Ellis, the actor from he's a Welsh-born actor, casted to play Lucifer, the light bringer. So think about what I'm showing you. The word Adam is the number 16 in Chaldean numerology. This is the 16th card. And the word Lucifer, who they casted, Thomas, is this birth card. Okay? This card right here, that is making up the Adam to become man. So I'm saying we're all the little devils here. Lucifer, the light bringer, to weaken the nations. This 3 clubs becomes the 3 of wands. This is the combination. The 3 of clubs becomes the 3 of wands. And the 3 of wands is card number 25. 25 is linked to the word adversary. It's also linked to the words black sun, which is why you got 2 black suns in your eyes, making you the devil. This card right here, the depiction of it, the keywords means launching long-term plans. What would you do when you become man? You'd launch your plans. And coincidentally, the word hell, Hell, also equals the number 16. Lucifer, ruling over hell, which is mankind. I mean, the Christ said it in the Bible. Your father is from the devil. Yeah, hello. That's why you're a sinner. And then the major arcana in the tarot, the 16th card, it's the Tower. What does that look like? It looks like a penis ejaculating, causing disruption, male energy, creating the atom from the push of light, the speed of light. That's what it means, folks. When you really properly synchronize this stuff, you can see the truth right here. It's ridiculously funny. It's ridiculously funny. A lot of trolls tonight. Wow. This is the most I ever had. It's like they kind of went on a mission. But anyway, that's what it looks like. 16 and 16, and the word Adam is 16. I don't have my book with me, but I would show you guys some more decoding as well with the cards of illumination. All right. Wow, I don't know where they're coming from tonight. Fire and brimstone. Some of these avatars are funny. All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back to your comments. Let's talk decoding. Rig Sports. What are the cards for February 24th? 4 diamonds, the 30th card in the deck. The 4 of diamonds, and the other one is the 5 of spades. What's interesting about this combination, think about what I'm going to tell you here now, those of you that are the 4 of diamonds. 4 of diamonds being the Jack in the Box card. Stuck in the box. Now what are you going to do knowing that you're stuck in the box? 4 diamonds, the spirit card is the 5 of spades. The 5 of spades, let me just show you the tarot because we think in pictures. I'm going to show you both. Because see, the 5 of spades is the 5 of swords. And the 5 of swords is the birth card of the Bavarian Illuminati. May 1st. So obviously these cards have multiple birthdays attached to them, but I want to show you the synchronicity of that. Okay? So here's the 5 of spades tied to the 4 of diamonds, tied to the 4 of pentacles, tied to the jack in the box, stuck in the box. Once you know you're stuck in the box, once you know you're here. All right, now what are you going to do? Well, this is tied to the Bavarian Illuminati. Look at the sinks. It's this person holding the swords, and then 2 people are like walking away. They threw their swords down and like, screw you, I ain't playing. Not playing. So this to me is a representation of like when you know you're stuck in the box, which you are until you die, you're either going to play like Tron, the latest Tron with Jeff Bridges, 2016. There's a huge truth bomb in there. I think so. And he said, if you want to win the game, don't play. I think there was a lot of truth to that. And it's challenging to not play. It's challenging not to play. But playing is obviously, there are many parts to that, a lot of gradients to that. New moon in Aries. Now let's just see what troll is. I didn't even see what. Let's see. Troll is 19, which is from the sun. The sun devil. Troll's a 19. That's just funny right there. All right, let's talk decoding. Let's see what we got. I'm not doing any card pulls tonight, Eddie Machete, because then I have to be pulling them for everybody, and it's just suck up all the time here. I just want to talk decoding, so I'm not going to pull any cards tonight. I'll do that for what's your question? John Doe, Logan and Ethan combo. I'm totally down. Ethan, if you're down, bro, he's got my number. Let's roll, man. If you want to do a podcast together, totally. I mean, Ethan just, man, gets me happy because the guy's such a brainiac. Him and Kevin Clark, like those are the 2 dudes that, and Jordan. I mean, they just drop these bombs. It's like, whoa, and I get all excited. You know, it's like bringing a kid to a candy store. Why was 9/11 done in 2001? Maybe because of the 21 or the 201? 201, because I know Zach's big on the 201. And I sent him a graphic on this. But again, those of you that are decoding, please start to use the Royal Society of Chemistry and look at the periodic table. Find what element is linked to the number that you're decoding at, and what is the number predominantly linked to. What element is the number 201 predominantly linked to? Mercury. Mercury. And then when you go further, Mercury owns and operates the sign of Virgo, which is the 3rd eye, the simulation. So if you really look at this, like, okay, Mercury runs the 6th house, or is the lord of the 6th house, which to me is owned by Jupiter. But it's Jupiter communicating through the 3rd eye, delivering to you the movie through the lucid dream. That's not real. This reality to me is not real to whatever's running it. It's just like when you watch a movie, you turn on your favorite show and you binge watch it. Is it real? No. Why do you get emotionally involved with it? Because you can't separate what's real and what's not real when you're engaged in the show. But when you watch a movie or a show, it is not freaking real. So Mercury's 201, which is why you have Event 201, Mercury is the communicator of the sun. Corona means sun. Think about what I'm telling you. It's easy to see these when you bring the periodic table into it. Event 201, I decoded it. The whole complete timeline of that thing that's going on. That's almost done. 201 is Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. It's best friends with the sun. And the word corona is the sun, which is where that C word came from. The 19th card in the deck, which is tied to that C word, is the sun card. So what do you think's controlling that whole operation? It ain't man. It's the sun devil. And Mercury is tied to the 201. Best friends with the sun. It's going to tell everybody what's going on. It's kind of like the in-between point, the liaison of the sun. Mercury, the trickster. In the aspects of Thor and Loki, it's a lot of people think it's Loki. Mercury, the trickster. All right, let's talk decoding here. Let's look at some more of your comments. Oh, it's a full moon tonight. Okay, well, that's why. Well, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I found this out the hard way. I went to the beach one day on a full moon. I like going out at night when it's like 1 a.m. and no one's on the beach. And the mosquitoes are up 500% on a full moon. Think about that. Well, that's why people go loco ono when it's the full moon. Mosquitoes come out 500% more on a full moon. I guess we got the trolls coming out here on a full moon. So let's talk decoding. I got planets in Libra. What about the number 22? 22 is tied to the sun because 22 is the letter V, and the letter V is the sun as it moves through the diamond shape, and it makes that, letter V. 22 is tied to vanadium, the 23rd element, tied to the pineal gland, which is being run by the sun and the moon. 22 is tied to the wounded warrior, which is the 9 of clubs, the 9 of wands. So many different ways to skin a cat with this, but if you got loads of planets in Libra, bliss, what house is it in? I'd have to look at the entire chart. You'd have to look at all the planets, and it's just so broad stroke and too vanilla to give you a depiction and give you an accurate one. I would be doing you a disservice of giving you any indication of what that means for you. Yeah, Jordan and I are going to be getting together soon again. I know that for sure. Mojave, how can I get a personal card pulling? Just send me an email if you're interested in a reading. I do tarot readings. decodeyourreality@gmail.com. Thoughts on the movie number 23 by Jim Carrey? It's a great movie. I really enjoyed that movie. 23 is the Royal Star of the Lion. And if you type in Royal Star of the Lion in Chaldean, it equals the number 69. 69 is the yin yang. The reason why LeBron James and Michael Jordan, one of the reasons why they wore those numbers is because it's the Royal Star of the Lion tied to Leo the Lion. And Leo the Lion is the 5th zodiac sign, which is right here. It's man in, it's the sun in human form. And the sign of Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is coming down to play the game, to become part of the movie. Like, oh, you know what? I like that movie. I'm going to, essentially what it is, it's the sun, the moon, and the earth. It's the producer, the director, and the actor, which coincidentally equals the number 82. Producer, director, actor is 82, which is Prison Planet. So you could just take the constructs of a movie, Hollywood, and the main components of a movie: producer, which funds it all, the director who runs it all, and the actor who plays out the parts. 82. And then you go to alchemy. It's the element lead. Lead to gold. And that just leads into this. Let me just give you guys a brief overview of my, where's my slide here? Hold on. Hang on a sec, folks. Academy. Let me just give you 3. Let me just show you this. Those of you that watched the ridiculous story, the staging that went on just the other night with Will Smith and Chris Rock. I didn't watch the Academy Awards. I'm not really into supporting that kind of stuff because it's all just sucking the energy out of you anyway. But let me show you. Hang on a second. Let me show you how ridiculous this code is. Now, this may be people becoming conscious of it, obviously, but just showing you the power of the Chaldean again. Hang on. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. So this is an upcoming decode I have, and I'm working on this right now, but I decided to break down the Academy Awards and just to show you the power in the tarot and the Chaldean, how these are directly connected with one another. Academy Awards is a 36. 36 is tied to the word operating, as an operating system. 36 is the 369, the keys to the universe. 36 is tied to the element Krypton, the element that Superman was from, which is tied to the sun. The Son of Man, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ equals 36. Jesus Christ superstar. Notice that Academy is 19 and awards is 17. And when you bring in the tarot to get the picture, you clearly can see what it's telling you. It's the sun becoming the star in the movie star. The sun operating people on the stage to become the movie star at the Academy Awards. 1919. 17. We're all stars in the movie. Rock star, movie star. What kind of star are you? Are you a star in your own movie, or are you an extra in somebody else's? Tied to Jesus Christ superstar. Jesus Christ equals 36. There is no escaping this code. It's all in the source code. And then we get into the Oscars. What happens if you win? If you win an award, you get an Oscar. Oscar is going to be 16. That's going to be tied to the word Adam, but it's the Oscars, plural, because there's going to be multiple. What color is the figure on the trophy you get? It's gold. Of course it's gold. Because when you win an Oscar, you essentially are a win for the sun. That's why the sun runs the reality of the movies, because it's telling you what's going on. And that's why it's 19. This is the 19th card in the deck. The Sun card. And then last but not least, here's the movie that won the award for Best Movie, I think it was, or Best Director, for the 94th Academy Awards, which is linked to plutonium, which is Shiva, the god of destruction. Look at the title of this movie. And you don't tell me something's going to happen this year? More sinks for me. The power of the dog. What is the dog star? Sirius. What dropped out of the sky in the movie The Truman Show? A light, and what did it have on it? Sirius. Sirius is 16. Oscar is 16. And that's the dog star, which is the atom. The father of the atom. Power of the dog is 85 in the string of the golden ratio, because it's the Golden Globes and the Academy Awards. It's the sun, the award of the sun. And the sun is the dog star tied to Sirius. Well, this is the pattern the sun makes. If you haven't seen my superstars decoded, there it is. This is moving through the sky. This picture is the sun taken on each day of every month, the same day, and it makes this boomerang, it makes this V-shaped pattern, and it makes the 171. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 13. But it's a 171 pattern. There it is. The power of the dog. What do you think runs the Academy Awards, folks? What do you think the dog is? Why do you get a Golden Globe? Golden is the sun. All those people are just actors, and they're all movie stars on the world stage. And it's just ridiculous. Just goes on and on and on. That's just a sneak peek. That's just what I plopped in my lap last night. And I was laughing because it's so ridiculously stupid that people give their energy to this entertainment and they don't get anything in return. And we all do it because I'm a fan of movies. But I'm more of a fan of being the star in my own movie than I am supporting a star in a movie. Not trying to be like anybody on the stage. Don't care. They're not trying to be like me. No one's trying to be like me. And even if they were, I wouldn't care. So I say, make the truth your own. That's telling you to go be their own star in your own movie. Don't follow me. Don't subscribe to my Instagram page or my Twitter feed, or don't try to get your lips done like mine, or get your boobs done like mine, or get a haircut like mine. No, just be the star in your own movie, because you're all being part of the Son anyway. The Son of Man, you are the Son of Man, or the Son of Woman. It's just ridiculous, this code. It's so funny how much this source code is playing out behind the scenes and running it all. It runs it all of it. I just have fun with it. I mean, that was undeniable what I just showed you, unless you can come up with an alternative narrative of what I just showed you. And again, just using Chaldean tied to the tarot cards to get the picture. Right there, Academy Awards. It's all about the sun worship. It's all of it. And you have the Old Testament and the New Testament in religion. It's the worship of the sun, worship of Saturn, or Sirius in there. Christianity is sun worship. Judaism is Saturn worship. Old Testament, New Testament. Fear in Judaism, love in Christianity. And you can't have one without the other. That's it. And it's just a sliding scale. And I got a friend of mine who started to go to this church. Feels good. My life's changing. Well, yeah, because you're getting energy from it. It's charging your battery. So I've been to mega churches. When you go to a mega church, you walk in there and it feels good, it's charging your battery. Taking your negativity away, sucking the negativity out of you, getting you back to balance. So if it makes you happy and you do it, keep doing that. But the name of the game is neutrality, not partaking in use one, it's an archetype. Use it to get you back to balance. You want to be slightly love. I don't need to put my faith in an idea to be a good person. A lot of people do. That doesn't work for me. I don't need to put my faith in an idea to be a good person. I've just decided to be a good person without any constructs doing or affecting me. All right. Let's get to your comments. Let's talk decoding. What do you guys got? Everything in this matrix reality is a manifestation of the sun. Yeah, the sun and the moon. It's the anode and cathode. It's the Ark of the Covenant. I don't know how anybody can screw this up now with this information that we got. Look at the tarot. That's from the devil, because you're the devil. So there's truth to that. Here's the Ark of the Covenant right here. There it is. Look at it real close. That's the Ark of the Covenant, the sun and the moon. If you bring alchemy into this, it's argon, representing the moon, and it's potassium or kalium, representing the sun. It's the letter AR and the letter K. And if you bring AR and K together, what does it spell out? Ark. The Ark of the Covenant. It's the sun and moon. And then of course, the picture of, well, where do we go from there? Well, you get into the Trinity. What's the Trinity in the lines of the tarot? It's the earth. The star is born. You're born on the earth. You're a star, movie star, rock star, sports star. And here's your Trinity right here. Here it is. Here's the Trinity in the tarot right there. The sun, the moon, and the earth forming the triangle. Forming the prison planet. Right there. That's it. Card 19, card 18, card 17. It's going to give you the number 54. Tied to Xenon and the stranger in my head. I mean, it just goes on and on. It continues to go on and on with these constructs. It's really simple. It's really, really simple, folks. Rig Sports. When decoding, should I only be connecting the Chaldeans, the Chaldean cipher to the periodic table? No, you can use virtually any cipher. But from all the countless research I've done, as long as I've been doing this, I personally feel Chaldean is directly tied to the alchemical periodic table. Directly. I've supported that. Now, I'm not saying it's the only one, because I showed in my Cannabis Decoded that the element thallium is tied to that Fibonacci extended cipher, which is not the Chaldean. But that Fibonacci one that I discovered, man, that one is pretty powerful, because the Fibonacci sequence is tied to the golden ratio, which is pure mathematics. The measurement of that golden spiral, it's pretty powerful. I mean, there's a reason why Skull and Bones is 322, because if you cut that in half, you get 161, which is the golden ratio. 322 divided by 2 is 161. So I'm not, like, people ask me a lot, like, I picked the last 3 Super Bowl winners. I got some sports stuff in here. I picked the last 3 Super Bowl winners. I not only got the last 2 Super Bowl winners right by the point margins. I didn't get the score exactly right, but I picked the 3 points they would win by on this one and previous Super Bowl, and I did it through the cards of illumination. This was my main foundational piece, but I'm not interested in making money off it. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. You could, and I know these are, they have their truth. They have their absolute truths, these cards. When you know how to read the systems, whew. I mean, Tom Brady was a dead giveaway. If you looked at his chart, he was 43 when he won his Super Bowl. If you looked at the chart number 43, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, he's going to win. I knew it. Just because he was winning his 7th Super Bowl ring and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't gamble on it. Don't care. Not in it for that. Some people are. That's fine. I don't judge the people that are. But I'm not into that kind of stuff. Don't care. Not my cup of tea. I'm just a tour guide, folks. I'm the tour guide to bring you into the amusement park and say, okay, there's the roller coaster, and there's the Tilt-A-Whirl, and there's the Ferris wheel. Which ride do you want to go on? And the rides are the Matrix. Keeping you busy. Not interested. I'm in the middle. I'm just observing it. I partake in it, of course, because it's just natural to partake in the Matrix. But I know when to draw the line. Because there are Mr. Smiths, there are agents everywhere trying to suck you dry, trying to pull you down, trying to keep you busy. And it's so true. I mean, you look at this, like certain people come into your life. Are they agents? They don't even know they're agents. Are they agents to suck you back into the matrix, to suck you back into Maya? To keep you busy enough, to keep you preoccupied from really what's important, and that's getting the hell out of here? All right, let's talk decoding. Yeah, so sports, you go to Zach's channel. Yeah, I mean, if you want to decode sports, I mean, actually, I have a friend of mine who, in my opinion, he's the best sports decoder. Yeah, that's my opinion. I'm not even going to mention his name because I don't know if he'd even want me to drop his name. But I know a guy who is very talented, who's very dialed into the code. I know his birth card. I know his birthday. I can see his code. And the guy's really good at decoding sports. Probably the best I've seen. I'm not going to mention his name. And just because of privacy and because I don't know if he'd even want me to mention his name, but he's really good at it. And he throws me stuff and I look at it, but I'm just not interested. Just doesn't get me off. I don't know, just doesn't do it for me. But he's the guy, I think he's the best. Now remember, sports is 27, currency is 27. Sports is just part of the matrix. It's just part of the matrix, folks. It's designed, it's in Maya. The Upanishads, the Vedas, they described it great. They said, the Maya is the great illusion. Maya. It's the mother, the great illusionist, the queen bee trying to keep you busy. And you're a worker bee servicing the queen. And the queen is Maya. And Maya has a cornucopia full of things to keep you busy. To work on your senses. If it doesn't hit your sense of emotions, it's going to hit your sense of feeling. If it doesn't hit your sense of feeling, it's going to give you a sense of how you see things, how you perceive things. Maya. And Maya are the Mr. Smiths. And as I mentioned, are there people that come into our lives, part of the script? Some people call them non-player characters. But are they just coming into your life to pull you back into Maya? The great illusion. As the great Alan Watts talked about. Man, that guy was the great British philosopher, Alan Watts. Talks about it extensively. And he says, just like it, we're all incarnations of God. It's experiencing its own game. And then you want to get out. You realize you're in a game and you realize you're being used and you're like, I don't want to play anymore. And then you'll meet somebody. And you meet them and they're like, oh, let me give you this and give you some pleasure. And it feels good. Next thing you know, you take one step back. And now you're playing the game again. And I did a decode from Chris Isaak, that great song called Wicked Game. If you haven't checked that one out, check it out. Even if you don't like the song, Chris Isaak, Wicked Game. He was talking about a girl. But there's multiple meanings to these things. And I think he was talking about coming down and playing the game. And it's a wicked game. And I don't want to fall in love with you. That's what he said. I don't want to fall in love with you. But it's always the masculine chasing the tail. It's the fallen angel story. It's the angels having the eyes for the females and saying, oh, I really want to go have sex with those females, so I'm going to go down and incarnate and become an avatar, and I'm going to play the game. So does it have anything to do with knowledge? No, it's all about chasing ass. It's all about chasing females. If we really want to get funny with this and be joking about it, it's the masculine chasing the feminine. That's the whole thing. That's the whole construct. And becoming the star. I mean, when you look at this, I said this is Earth right here. Let's talk decoding in the tarot. This is Earth, card 17. This is you, the star. You're on Earth, you're a star, you're a cell in the battery. This is you. How did you get here? It's card 17. The word Earth equals 17, by the way. This is card 17. So you see the combination of energy here? The word Earth equals 17 in the Chaldean cipher. This is the 17th card. The star is born. You're born on Earth. What precedes the 17? 16. What is 16? It's the atom. And it becomes the Adam and Eve, and the atom becomes the light slowed down into physical matter to become the star in the movie. How do you get to this? You get to it from the masculine energy of the card that supersedes the star. It's the tower. It's the phallus. It's the ejaculation, which fertilizes the egg, and then you come out into this world and you become a star. Card 16, card 17. Pretty apparent right here. 16 and 17, add those up. What do you get? Ding, ding, ding. 16 plus 17, here it is. It's the atom, the sperm fertilizing the egg and becoming the star of the movie. And 16 and 17 is 33. That's it. It's that simple. It's light coming down and to play out its own game. Think of a movie projector. The projector is and has all the ideas. It's the software. It's the operating system, the machine. I decoded Pink Floyd, Welcome to the Machine. Machine is 24. The X chromosome is the 24. Thomas is 24. We are the devils. The machine projects its light onto the world, and when the light comes down through the speed of light and it slows down, it becomes a disturbance in the patterns of the magnetic frequency and the electromagnetic frequency, and we become resistance, and we become a disturbance in the field, which is now your avatar, and you're now playing the game. And it's a simulation made by light. And I know that's very challenging to comprehend to some people. But that's the way this works. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk decoding. If you're decoding your life, if you're willing to go and decode your life, you're going to find that your life is all scripted. If you're going to really decode yourself, I'm talking about what was your high school mascot? What was the name of your school that you went to? Middle school, grade school, high school? Where was it located? What city was it located in? What was the latitude, longitude of the high school that you were born at? What was the hospital you were born in? What was the latitude, longitude of the hospital? See, if you're willing to decode all these layers of your life, the street you grew up on, the address you grew up on, that you used to ride your bike down in your neighborhood, when you start to decode these layers, you're going to find that your life has been scripted. The people in your life have been scripted in your life. The places you go to have been scripted in your life. The cars that you buy have been scripted in your life. You know, I have on my arm here, this entire sleeve I have, you have flames here. I know you guys can see the flames. And then I have phoenixes. And I got a big phoenix right here. I haven't finished it, but this is all phoenixes. I started this tattoo long before I ever woke up. And I decided a long time ago, before I woke up, that I was going to get a phoenix. And then I just got a phoenix and now I got like 5 phoenixes. Well, I started to decode my life when I woke up. And when I was growing up, at the first house I ever lived at, my parents had a Pontiac Phoenix car. And the color of it was silver. Now, I know I'm not going to go into great detail. Those of you that know decoding know what silver is. That's why I have a silver chain here. It's the most electrical element on the periodic table. My parents had a Pontiac Phoenix car. And then I get phoenixes tattooed all over my arm before I was ever awake? What the hell's going on here? What is the phoenix? It's the sun. I was born on a Sunday. My latitude, longitude of where I was born are the numbers of Lucifer. 41 degrees north, 71 degrees east. 4171, Lucifer's numbers. The hospital I was born in was in the town of Putnam, Connecticut, which is the number 28, which is a match to Lucifer. Folks, I could keep going on. And you can go and then go look at your town, like what the town you were raised in. When was it incorporated? What year was your town that you were born into? When was it incorporated? Who founded the town? What was their birthday? Folks, the script is all freaking connected. I speak from experience when I say this. So I'm just telling you straight up, authentically, I am tired. That's why, I got this tattoo on my hand right here. This one, right there. To remind me of how ridiculous this code is. And to laugh. Now you want more, just going to tell you one more thing. I decided to get this tattoo. I was living in the central part of Mexico in a town called San Miguel de Allende, just 3 hours north of Mexico City. And I walked into this tattoo parlor, never been there before. And I thought I could get the tattoo that day, because it's a simple tattoo, right? Which has now become my logo. I walk into this tattoo parlor and they couldn't take me that day. So they say, okay, well, the next available appointment is on May 26th. May 26th. My life path is a 26. 26 is tied to iron. 26 is tied to Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. I was born and raised a Jehovah's Witness, which is the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. So I'm like, all right, I'll take the appointment. I'll take it. And I just was, I wasn't looking at anything. I wasn't like, okay, should I take this appointment? And is it the right day? It's always the right day. When you're dialed into the code, you know it's always the right day. So May 26th was the day that I got this tattoo. And the day, May 26th, is this card right here. And the number that this card represents is the 19. This is the 19th card. The 19th card in the deck of the tarot in the major arcana is the Sun card. It's the freaking Sun card. What do you think that is? And then the 6 of clubs, which is what that day was that I got my tattoo, is tied to the 6 of wands. And the Six of Wands, which is right here in the tarot, is the 28th card in the deck. And I told you my birth city is 28. And Lucifer equals 28. What do you think Lucifer is? And to top it all off, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk decoding. This is why I urge you to decode your personal life. The guy who tattooed this on my body, his name was Leonardo. Leonardo. Leo. And Leo is ruled by the sun. That's how funny my life is scripted. That's why when somebody tells me that I'm this or I'm that, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or you're making shit up, or you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're just showing your ignorance. When I did that decode on Zach, and I broke down Gematria Effects News, when I broke down his book and I showed the source code playing out, and then the very next day I go to the beach here in Tulum in Mexico, and I find his birth card and the card that I did my podcast with him, that's the next day after. When I showed that, people think I was lying. Like, you didn't find those in the sand. You made that. I'm like, what? Why? What the hell? Why would I do that? Because people don't want to believe when I'm showing them the source code. They're not willing to decode themselves. Let's talk about decoding. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? How far do you want to see this code playing out in your personal life? Do you want to see it? Are you interested? A lot of you have blocks. You don't want to see it. You may think you want to see it, but then you block yourself from it. You got to surrender to it. Just let go. Stop trying to control everything. You ain't going to control it. You're not going to control it. And these people that are doing their wicked deeds on the world stage, they are not in control of the wicked deeds. They are being used to play out their characters. And a lot of these people, even in the higher echelons that are playing out their wicked deeds, they don't even know they're being used. Because they're so stuck in Maya. They're so Mr. Smith that they're blind. And they don't even know it. You see, the decoding world, we're talking about decoding. The decoding world is expanding and exploding thanks to you. Not thanks to me. Thanks to you. And the collaboration of you and I. And the symbiotic relationship between me and you and me. And if you're just willing to go on a limb and start to decode yourself and the people around you, you know what you're going to find? You're going to find a script that's predestined. And you don't have a say in it. You ain't got a say in the script. Now, yes, I do believe we do have some free will. And I believe the free will is the sliding scale. So you start in neutrality, green, and then you subject yourself to these influences on the world stage. And they're going to be acid or alkaline based. They're going to be angelic or demonic. Darth Vader or Yoda. If you get scared about demons, then just, okay, it's Darth Vader. Or Darth Maul, or however you want to do it to have fun with this ridiculous code. Because whatever created this reality is just like us. It has a personality. It has a positive and negative. It has a good cop, bad cop playing out at all times. Otherwise, we wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have it. Because, I have posed this so many times that if you're the eternal, infinite being that created this reality, and you've been through countless games, countless cycles, if you just kept it all angelic, it would be boring. It would get boring. You'd need some spice. And if you're just playing the characters, how many times are you going to play the priest? How many times are you going to play the nun? Before you're like, okay, I'm I'm kind of over being, I want to be another character. If you've ever played a video game, a good one is Street Fighter. I used to play it a lot when I was a kid. You become Blanca or Guile and I played all the characters. I was so into that game, I played all the characters, I beat the game with all the characters. Ryu and Ken and all of them. And then when I was done with that game, I'm like, well, where do I go from here? Because now I've beaten the game with every character. It's time to move on to another game. Folks, you think that our reality is anything different than what I'm describing to you here? Let's talk decoding in video games. How about the video game Pac-Man, one of the most popular games ever to come on the world stage? I decided to decode it. And those of you that have played Pac-Man, guess how many pellets there are that Pac-Man has to eat? 244. And what element on the periodic table is linked to the 244? Plutonium. And plutonium is Shiva. And Shiva is Sirius. And Sirius would cause the Nile River to rise in the heliacal rise of the rise of Sirius. It's called the dog star for a reason. And the guy who made Pac-Man was being used to make Pac-Man. That's it. We are just fractals. We are layers below other layers. It's like an onion. We're just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're willing to decode who you are and why you're here, you will find that your life is scripted. It's scripted. Now, if you don't agree with me, that's cool, but I can promise you that you haven't decoded yourself. Because if you were to decode yourself, you would have to submit to the fact that your life is scripted, because you will start to find the patterns in your life. The people you meet, you're supposed to meet. There are no accidents. There are no mishaps. There are no mistakes. The Adjustment Bureau in 2011 was a great indicator of how this reality works, I feel. And that whole movie with Matt Damon was all about, hey, if you get off track, maybe using your free will, I'm going to do something to your life and it's going to put you back on track again. And if you just look at your own personal life, you start decoding your life, you're going to see that's exactly what happens. Something earth-shattering changes, and it's like you were doing something and all of a sudden something changes, and then it's like, man, why the hell did that happen? I don't know. Why did it happen? So if you're willing to decode who you are and realize that your life is scripted and just submit to it, let go of the control, and observe the players on the game and not judge them, because they are scripted too. It just changes everything. Because if you study the double slit experiment, which is all about observing photons, which is light. You see, when light moves and there's nobody observing it, it doesn't change. But as soon as you observe the light, it ends up moving into form. That's the double slit experiment. So, if you start observing somebody and you give a reaction to that, or you give your magic to somebody, you not only give them energy, you give them form. Essentially giving them more power, making a bigger nucleus. So I will encourage you to really look at what you're doing on the world stage and what you're giving your energy to. And are you getting anything back in return? I know I went off a little bit on a tangent because that really has nothing to do with let's talk about decoding. But anyway, this is typically what I do. I go off on tangents. So I'm sorry about that. Woo, all right. Okay. All right, so I just want to, and I'm just going to use this very fun here. So RD, why are you here? because you're nothing but more negative than you are positive, which I'm not in for. So why are you even here? If you don't agree with what my perspectives are, then just leave. You don't have to be here. And you'd be a fool to be here if you don't believe in the perspectives of what I'm saying. That'd actually be a dumb move. So you should probably leave and go find another channel to give your energy to, because this is probably not the one for you. All my videos are probably not the one. I see some of your comments and it's not your truth. So you probably should take your avatar and go somewhere else. It would be easier for you. And I'm giving you some props here as just being a neutral observer here. You obviously don't like to hear what is to be said, and you've been negative about it. You're not being positive about it. So why are you even here? You should probably find your truth somewhere else. If you're gonna go and let's talk decoding. Let's talk about the Jesuits, right? Let's talk about the Masons. Let's talk about the Rosicrucians. Well, you know what they're doing? They're doing their job. Now again, someone has to fight against that job. So if you feel, RD, or anybody that resonates with this, if you feel that your job intuitively inside your gut, if you feel like you need to get out there and fight these people, by all means, don't let me tell you what to do, because I am not your voice in your head. I am just a voice. And that's not taking the high road. Those of you that feel like you need to go protest, those of you that feel like you need to go talk about the Jesuits or the Masons, or like try to put a wrench in their organizations, or talk about the negativity on the world stage, and if you feel like that's your thing, then I will encourage you to go do that. But you see, you're just doing your part. And I say it's a sliding scale. So from my perspective, when you start to hammer on these organizations, your sliding scale moves down to the acid realm. Because in order to match up energies with these organizations that are on the acidic realm, you must become acidic. Yeah, sure, you can be an angel fighting with the demon, but you know what you're going to get? You're just going to have resistance. You see, when you take yourself away from the game, see, the game is playing. Maya is playing. These people are all in Maya, and their game is to keep you sucked into the game of Maya. That doesn't mean you condone the way they do things. It doesn't mean you agree with the way they behave or what they're doing on the world stage. But again, by all means, if you're wanting to go out there and protest, if you're wanting to go out there and hammer these organizations, then go do that. Somebody's got to do it. I'm not one of them. I'm not that guy. That doesn't make me any worse or better than anybody else. All right, let's talk decoding. You know, it's amazing how I see, it's amazing how when you start to observe this reality, especially the decoding reality and the decoders out there, everybody's doing their part. Let's talk about decoding, right? So we'll talk about the decoding world. When you start to observe the decoders on the world stage, everybody has their own style, even though there may be some similarities. Everybody's got their own style. And when you get to the people that are really been in the game a long time, they have their really, really defined style. But what matters is your style, what you believe in. And again, magic, straight up magic. I just wish more people would really understand how magic works. Straight up magic. if you were to just take the energy that you put on to Maya, if you take that energy back and you were to put it into your life and use it constructively, what would your life look like? See, because if you go back 10 years from today or 15 years from today, there was essentially nobody decoding. So essentially you can say that the people that are now bashing these organizations and saying, oh, yep, that's these people and they're doing this and this is the connecting of the dots. And, 15 years ago, that didn't even exist. It wasn't even in existence. No one was doing that. So we were all asleep. So, okay, great. So did the organizations not exist back then? Of course they existed. They've always existed. It's called the Darth Vader side. It's always existed. But you see, if you just take the energy that you are hammering on these organizations and you take it back and you put it into something that is going to make the world a better place, and you have more people doing that and more people doing that and more people doing that and more people doing that, it would then smush out all that bad stuff, the Darth Vader energy that people are pushing up against. It wouldn't even be able to exist because everybody would be putting time into themselves, putting energy into themselves, being a content creator, being a constructive kind of person to society. But no, we have people that are just continually, just gladly giving away their magic and giving it to these organizations. And these organizations are so high up in the chain, they know what's going on. They're like, I'll take your energy. Here, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me your energy. Thank you for cashing out. Oh, I'll take your money. You want to get, oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. They'll gladly take it. And that's where I see some of these decoders. They just constantly give their energy away to these constructs and these ideas and these organizations. Whereas if they just were to focus on their life to make, because folks, I mean, is your life that perfect? I mean, are you just such a grandiose person? Like everything's so peachy keen in your life. You're such a perfect person. You're a perfect decoder and there's nothing wrong or broken in your life that you can't fix. So then it'd be fashionable for you to start breaking down these organizations if you're a squeaky clean, picture perfect, nothing wrong, nothing broken with you. But you know what? That's all bullshit. Because there is nobody out there watching this transmission right now that is and can describe themselves as that. Everybody has faults. Everybody has skeletons in the closet. Everybody is inauthentic. And everybody's got brokenness to them. And the majority of people don't want to fix that. They would rather just focus on other organizations because it makes themselves look better. Well, my shit's not that bad when I look at this organization. So I'm going to decode this and I'm going to say, oh, it's these people. My life's perfect though. But their shit, woo. No, see, you're giving them your energy. In essence, what you're doing is you're giving them your energy and they're taking it and they're growing from the energy. And that makes you a rookie. I see so many rookie decoders. And that's just me being straight up pulling my Mars card out and using my primal, my ego. Many of you decoders are just rookies and you're giving your energy away and you're not even building yourself. You're not getting anything in return. You get bragging rights because you can pinpoint saying, oh, it's those people. And that makes you feel good because maybe your life's in the toilet and it's their fault. Anyway. So, anyway, that's all I got to say about that. And I'm not going to make this about RD, but again, the joke's on you because you're still here. So, I mean, if I'm such a joke and I'm giving misinformation, then why are you still here? So, obviously, the handwriting's on the wall. So, I'll just transmute that. So, thanks, rookie. Just a rookie, RD. It's all good, though. You're in good company. There's a lot of rookies out there. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, RD. It's okay. It's okay to be a rookie. All your energy is just going to get transmuted over here. Just like the Masons and the Rosicrucians, all the organizations that you're against, they're just going to transmute the energy from you that you give to them. That's okay, though. A lot of rookies out there, so you're in good company. What's up, Kevin? Kevin Kirtland, the great queen of clubs. Another queen of clubs. Kevin in the house from the great city of, man, my home away from home, Southern California and Los Angeles, the city of angels. The crown chakra. If you lay the chakras across the United States, the root chakra is going to be in Hell's Kitchen, New York City, and then the crown's going to be in California. Thanks everybody for the comments. I'm just laughing. You guys are all awesome, man. Honestly, even the rookies. and the thing is, I say that with fun because I was once a rookie, and what I mean by rookie is I had no idea what I was doing 10 years ago, 15 years ago. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, man, I was so stuck in Maya, and I was just willingly giving my energy to Mr. Smith. So if you're not giving your energy to Mr. Smith, which is Maya, which is the Matrix, which is the machine, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, it's the apex predators, it's these people that I need to put in check. And then you end up giving them your energy, and they're just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to cash in now. It's like you just hand over your chips to these people. Instead of take your chips and go gamble somewhere else at another table. No, people would rather just give their chips away. It's just funny. We go in these stages. At one point, you're asleep, and then you wake up, and you may get a little pissed off. Like they say, the truth may set you free, but it'll piss you off first. But if you just get rid of the being pissed off and just like, the truth's going to set me free. What is the truth? It's your truth. It's not my truth. That's not going to set you free. It doesn't matter what I say. It's what you say. But a lot of people, they wake up and they're miserable in life. They're not happy with themselves, and they do the blame game. It's everybody else's fault. It's their fault. Take your power back. Take that energy that you're giving to those organizations, put it into your life, and see what happens. Your life's going to start to go up. That's what I do. My life's going up. I hope all of you are doing the same thing. I hope you're taking your power back and you're not just giving it away to these predators that want the energy to make themselves grow. That's how a predator becomes a bigger predator, because it gets energy, it gets magic. If everybody stopped giving their energy to these predators, they would just wilt away. They wouldn't be able to survive. Because in this reality, it all depends on one thing, and that's called acknowledgement. Acknowledgement. How do you become a big superstar, a big celebrity? Acknowledgement. Oh my God, you hear that guy's song? Oh my God, that guy sang great. Or she was an amazing singer. Next thing you know, oh my God, now there's a concert and there's 25,000 fans, and then they sell out all these arenas, and now you're a superstar. How did you get there? Any superstar didn't just instantly become a superstar. They started out somewhere, and then they built up over time. Some get faster than others, but it's through magic. It's through the energy, and it's through the conversion of energy that these people become bigger and bigger and bigger. Same thing with these apex predators. Same situation. Okay. What time is it? Yeah, it's time to end this transmission. I have no idea how even long I've gone for, but I'm going to end this transmission. Let's do one card pull for the night for everybody. Let's just see what we can get here for everybody. Let's talk decoding. Let's just do a fun thing here. Because this is kind of this similar to what's your question, but we're talking decoding. We're talking decoding, ladies and gentlemen. I hope something inspired you tonight or today. Something that I said or you saw in the text box inspired you to make a better position for yourself on the world stage. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. When you wake up, are you going to be like, I can't wait to start my day today? That's where it's at in the decoding world. Like, I can't wait to decode stuff. I get excited about it. That excitement level gives me the indication of I'm on track. All right. I'm going to do one question here. Someone's asking, I don't get it. If it's all scripted, then how do we turn away from living in the Maya? You don't turn away from it. You play the game, but you don't play the game. Life's a contradiction. The very best thing that anybody can do is decode yourself. Astrology, numerology, human design, personality type, Enneagram, life path, soul contract, all these layers. Start there before you ask these questions. Then start to figure out what you're here for, what's your purpose, what makes you get out of bed in the morning. You see, that's your script. It's a sliding scale. And then you start to realize a heck of a lot of what you're doing is feeding your primal. It's feeding your demonic, it's feeding your acidic. And that's necessary because it gives you pleasure, it gives you satiation. The free will that we have, I feel, gives you the sliding scale. And you want to be here, the green, balance, neutral, base, to get the best measurements of observing both sides and figuring out, okay, should I go down there or should I go up here? Which way should I go? And then observing the game and realizing that there's Darth Vader, Team Darth Vader, and Team Yoda. Which team do you belong towards? Which team do you belong to? And it's a contradiction because you're like, oh, I'm in control of my life. Well, how are you to prove that? Well, there's no way to prove that. There's no way to prove it. There's no way to prove against it. So it's going to be a stalemate. But decode yourself. That's going to be the very best thing you can do. I find my life is scripted. I demand a rewrite. That's great. Am I mad at? No, I'm not mad at anybody for speaking truth. I don't know who that is. It's some Chinese characters or Japanese characters. Before I pull a card, I'll leave you with all of you this. Those of you that have been here, thank you so much. Look, as I have said earlier, and that's why I encourage you to decode your life. I have personally decoded my life, decoded exes in my life, decoded siblings in my life, decoding parents, best friends. And I have found it's not only all connected, but it's all scripted. I don't need to prove that to anybody. I'm not here to defend that because I already know it's a truth that's in my life that is undeniable. And I'm not going to defend that because I don't need to. And many of you have done the same thing that I have. You've decoded your life. You've decoded the people around you. You can see how all the things, the people in your life, they're all connected. And you realize that you're part of a script. I mean, those of you that are fans of theology, what does theology say? God knows the things you need before you ever ask him. Well, how is that possible? Because you're in a script. He wrote the script, or it wrote the script. So instead of asking, get rid of that notion. Give gratitude. Give thanks to everything in your life. And watch your life take off like a frickin' rocket. You want to make life changes? You want to have your life a better experience? Stop doing the finger pointing and the blame game. Start giving acknowledgement and gratitude to everything in your life. And I can assure you from experience, your life will take off like a rocket. You will have the very best experiences you've ever had in your life. Because you're giving gratitude to all the things that were given to you as the gift of life. And the only thing that matters is the present moment. The word gift is tied to the presence, and the presence is tied to the present moment. And that's all that matters. It's not the past. It's not last month. It's not last year. It's not 5 years ago. And it's certainly not 5 years into the future. You can sure look into that stuff. All that matters is the now moment. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. The gift is the present moment. It's the presence. And all you got to do is decode yourself to realize you're in a script, and then surrender to that script, and then just acknowledge everything in your life. Give gratitude to everything in your life and everybody around your life that has done something for you. And just watch your life take off like a rocket. That is true decoding. So let me pull one card. For all of you great decoders, I'm going to end this transmission. I'm going to do one card from the deck. One card. And the thing I want you to think about, what is it going to take? What will it take as a generalization for you to have a better experience in life? What's it going to take? We're all in this together. No matter what level you're on of the playing field, what's it going to take for you personally? Not your neighbor, not your brother, sister. Those people, I know they're relevant to some of you, but they're not relevant in your life. What is it going to take for you to have the very best experience life has to offer? Let's ask the deck that. Let's see what it has to say. Even if your life is on cloud nine and you're doing amazing and you're just doing amazing things and everything's amazing. It's a lot of amazings. What is life going to do? Like, what do you got to do for life to be the best experience for you ever? What is it you got to do? Are you ready? I'm not going to do any music, 30 seconds, just going to right from the middle. Let's do it together. So here we go. So we can see we're not going to cheat here. Here we go. Right from the middle. Whoop. Ah. The Jack of Cups. The Knight of Cups. Do you know what this card is right here? This card right here means looking for love. So what do you got to do to have the best experience in your life? Look for love. That means that if you're looking for evil and you're looking for hate and you're looking for your things to blame and looking for the predators, that means you're not looking for this. To have the very best experience life has to offer, this Jack comes in and is like, look what I won, my trophy. Looking for love. That's what this card means. And if you want more information on that, type in the Knight of Cups, Teach Me Tarot in your favorite search engine and you'll find it. If you want more information on that, on a previous decode that I did, check out my Two Thieves decoded, because I showed the cross in that decode, and this card was in the lineages of the latitude going down. Spirit becoming matter. And what do you do when you become matter, become a human being? You're looking for love, baby. That doesn't mean you're falling in love. I'm saying is, what are you going to love? Remember, your pH scale is slightly alkaline, slightly love. So what is the best thing you can do? The most important thing each and every one of you great decoders out there can do to get the best rewards out of life and the experiences out of life? Focus on love. Look for love. It's the Jack of Cups. I mean, you couldn't have picked a better card. Right there. The cards have spoken. So what are you going to do about it? That's it. All right, folks. Woo. So let me end this by playing this song by Camel Fat. It's called Hypercolor. And this is the Art Bat remix. Big shout out to these people. What an amazing song this is. So I'm going to end this transmission to all of you great decoders out on the world stage. I send an immense amount of love your way. This is Knight of Cups energy. Thank you for joining me about Let's Talk Decoding. I know we went off on different tangents, different topics, but I hope you got something out of this transmission. Check out a lot of these other great decoders out there. Big shout out to Syncretism Society, Jordan at Waters Web Crypto, Nigel and Harry at Devil's Playground, Ahmed, all these great people that I'm involved with. And I got more stuff coming out. But folks, sending you high vibes, as Jordan always says, love is allowing. Just focus on you and focus on what makes you happy and take your power back to become the best little devil you can be here on planet Earth. So folks, until next time, we'll see you later.
All the places that I used to know. Smoke rings running through my mind when visions in my mind start to grow. And the open wide road running through the sky, hypercolor blue, the summer in your mind. And the open wide road running through the sky, hypercolor blue, the summer in your mind. And the open wide road running through the sky, hypercolor blue, the summer in your mind. And the open wide road running through the sky, hypercolor blue, the summer in your mind. How I feel when I'm cold again. 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 all